9 years ago, James and I talked about what it was like living in our home state, Arizona. I honestly don't remember most of what we said in that video. I tried to rewatch it as a refresher and maybe a little trip down memory lane, but turns out after 5 seconds I'd rather be guillotined. No. Eyes on me. You clicked on this video, you're staying on this video. No funny ideas, alright? The other day, I was in a store trying to buy a plain black shirt that was locked up behind those stupid box lockers, so I had to ring an employee for a single shirt. A few minutes later, someone came by. Alright, what can I... Oh my gosh. Are you Jaiden Animations? Yeah. No way, I love your videos. Can I get a photo? Yeah. Thanks so much. I didn't expect to see you here. Are you visiting? Oh, no, I live here. You're not in Arizona anymore? And that's when it dawned on me, there is a giant portion of my audience who will not get updated on some parts of my life if I don't explicitly say it in one of my animations. Also, the guy left without unlocking the box, so I had to wait another 5 minutes for him to come back and get the shirt. So yeah, to anyone who didn't get the memo, I've been in California for the past 6.5 years, specifically Los Angeles. I honestly can't believe it's been that long already, because that means for the past 6.5 years, I've been doing nothing but complaining about it the entire time. I believe in the compliment sandwich system though. Not everything about moving to California has been bad. For example, the weather is great. It's always sunny, which, you know, Arizona is too, but like, in a bad way. California doesn't hit the casual 118 everything outside melts and dies degrees like back home. It's vacation weather all the time. I like that part. The drivers here are assholes. Arizona isn't all sunshine and rainbows in the driving department either. When I was learning to drive as a teenager, my mom told me to never honk at people no matter what because there's a chance they'll just shoot me. But because of the sheer volume of people on California roads all the time, it is a completely different beast. And every single one of them is driving to go kick babies because they hate their fellow man. Compassion does not exist on the California freeway. And by that, I mean blinkers. You know, the very helpful and necessary communication tool that tells people you'd kindly like to move into the lane. It's a sign of weakness here. If you even think about turning your blinker on, every single car in your vicinity will speed up and refuse to let you merge because they cannot handle the idea of a different car being in front of them. How can they get to their destination faster if a car that was in front of them in a different lane suddenly shifts to the side 12 feet? People will go out of their way to merge into the lane just to speed past you and spit on your windshield. When I turn my blinker on, which I still do because I refuse to let this barbaric driving culture corrupt me, a car will speed up and then merge in front of me. If you need to be in my lane and I need to be in yours, we literally have to stay at our same speeds and shift. It's simple. There's no point in you blocking my merge just to merge into my lane anyway. Oh my god, it pisses me off so much. They do it all the time. If I had no money and got $1 every single time someone took advantage of my blinker, I'd have enough money to move out of this godforsaken state. One time I turned my blinker on, checked my blind spot, and in the amount of time it took for me to look back at the road and start merging, a car way behind me had sped up so fast that my car's auto detection had to cut my merge off so I wouldn't hit them. And then that car honked at me! I will kill us both. Alright, the drivers suck, but at least I'm only going a few miles. Not only am I forced to drive alongside these bozos, I'm forced to drive alongside them for way longer than I should need to. The traffic is so genuinely bad, I daydream of becoming a better sprinter to arrive at places quicker because it is genuinely not far from the realm of realism. Either that or get one of those monster snowplow attachments. I mean, seriously, 10 miles? I should not be in the car longer than 20 minutes. Everyone here loves driving 30 over the speed limit anyway. I don't even know what the holdup is. Also, a little tip. If you wanted to find a place to park when you get to your destination, you shouldn't even be driving in the first place. Parking doesn't exist here, it's a myth and a lie. 95% of all locations have 0 parking lots. There's never street parking, and if you happen to be a lucky enough soul to find a spot, you can't slow down to parallel park into it because people are either gonna yell at you for clogging the lane or ram into your bumper. It's just an evil trick. So your only choice is to find a parking garage that costs like $20. One time, my friends and I drove to a One Piece live symphony at the Dolby Theater and decided to park in its parking garage. Oh, what an obvious mistake. Do you want to know how long it took us to get out of that garage after the show when everyone was leaving? 2.5 hours! We parked in the designated parking garage for a show and paid 2.5 hours of our life on top of real life money. So what if you don't have a car? Then you don't have to deal with any of this, right? Well, you can't walk anywhere. What do you think this is? Any other country? You could get a bike or a motorcycle, but again, with the quality of drivers around, you might as well play Russian roulette every time the wheels touch asphalt. Maybe with the right setup and some expendable funds, you could just get around with rideshare apps. But man, getting an Uber is so expensive out here. It might as well be considered a luxury in itself. If you're taking an Uber either to or from the LAX airport, I guarantee it'll cost at least $100. And the drivers don't get like any of that, by the way. Once I had a driver complain to me about the ride rates the whole trip, which was not asked for to begin with. He said he had a client once trying to go to LAX and they were being charged $100, like I said, but the driver was only gonna get $30 from the trip. So he offered to charge $80 cash for them to do it outside the app as a win-win. Don't ever take this type of offer, kids. That was incredibly dangerous. But that's just where the landscape of Uber is here. Also, fun little tip, never tell any drivers the place you're going to or from is your actual home. This is for everywhere, not just California. Sure, if they ask, it's normally small talk, but when it's not, you're in danger! Yikes! Now that guy won't leave your driveway, and the police say they can't do anything because he hasn't actually committed a crime yet. Just lie and say it's a friend's place or something. It's not worth the gamble, and lying to strangers is fun. That was a free survival hint from your friendly neighborhood YouTuber. Put that one in the back of your pockets. Speaking of LAX, because I brought it up earlier, that place is actual hell on earth. If someone gets sent there after death, I would consider it a viable punishment for being a bad person. But innocent people are forced to be subjected to it every single day, and it's inhumane. You have every single asshole with a plane ticket in the entire city and beyond enter through the same stupid entrance, forced to drive through the same loop bumper to bumper until they get to their specific gate. No branching paths, no attempts to categorize the types of arrivals, just a single slaughterhouse line like cattle. But in normal slaughterhouse lines, the cattle don't hate each other. I was talking about bad merging before. It is legitimately survival of the fittest in the LAX horseshoe. Absolutely no one will let you merge lanes ever unless you threaten to fist fight them right there on the concrete. One time I sat with my blinker on in traffic that was not moving for 15 minutes straight, and a dude still refused to let me start merging once cars started inching forward. I had to sit there making direct eye contact with him until he was uncomfortable enough to let me get in front of him. It is personal. I am not the same person when I'm in the LAX horseshoe. None of us are. Some dudes in the 1960s decided they wanted everyone that ever planned to visit LA to suffer instantly when they got here. And they simply got away with it. I've spent so much time talking about traffic and the airport. I haven't even talked about living in LA yet. Well, that part sucks too! Everything is so absurdly expensive here, it's almost comedic. Almost. Maybe raise the prices of food like $10 more and I'll start to chuckle. No, a burrito's like $40. I haven't even had food out here that's blown my mind. Sure, it's not bad, but when eating out can get this expensive, I expect something more to write home about. There are some really fancy restaurants around, but I shouldn't have to spend even more money to eat a meal that makes me go, wow, I will remember this. It's become a common pastime for some people to pull up Zillow and look at all the really crazy expensive multi-million-dollar mansions, fantasizing about what they would do if they were to live in the craziest of homes. But the equivalent of that for me and my friends here is to look at normal homes that are just not in California. Oh, look at that one! 3-bed, 2-bath for like $2,500 a month. That's insane. Here, the same thing can go upwards of $7,000. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very lucky and fortunate enough to not have to worry about finances as much. I can afford to live in a more expensive place here. It's not gonna break my bank. But at the same time, I'd like to still be relatively smart with money. Sure, I tend to splurge on plushies and trinkets. Haha, Jaiden's buying another Miku figure. But outside of that stuff, I'm really not spending money on anything else. I'm not into luxury cars or clothes or any of that type of culture. It's trinkets, plushes, and admittedly a little too much DoorDash. But I have a job that I can perform literally anywhere in the entire world. And I'm sitting here wasting extra costs on living in one of the most expensive cities in America. It feels bad. And I don't know if you picked up on it yet, but I don't even really like it here all that much. So why? Why do I choose to burn extra money just to exist in LA? The single reason is all of my friends are here, and I'd happily shovel extra funds into a giant furnace to be near them because that's what makes a place feel like a true home. But all of my friends are also content creators that can work anywhere too, and if we all just banded together and decided to move somewhere else, that would sure be swell. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of time, coordination, and resources to try and figure out an entirely new place to move a giant friend group of people, so we've essentially soft-locked ourselves here until we can all agree it's time to get out of here. I'll give LA some credit. The main thing that makes it great is the fact that everything is always happening here. There's always some sort of fun event going on. Concerts, tours, random pop-ups. I went to a live screening of the season 2 finale of Severance where the cast got to talk about it afterwards, and that was one of the coolest experiences of my life so far. You name it, it is happening in California. Truly, you will never be bored here if you're always looking for something to do, and I recognize that is incredibly valuable. But at the same time, it means there's always tourists visiting, and Los Angeles is a very disgusting city for tourists to visit. It smells like pee all the time. The tourist trap areas are so trashy. There's constant crowds everywhere you go. When it rains, the pee smells even worse. Every once in a while, I need to go into the city for some reason or another, and those are bad days. Also, if you want to see all these cool things, you don't have to live in California to begin with. In fact, living here only desensitizes me to all the awesome stuff constantly around. Back when I first moved, I was really close to Disneyland, and for the entire 2 years I spent over there, I only went to the alleged happiest place on earth a single time because of a friend's birthday. That's more of a personal experience though. I know plenty of people who have yearly passes to Disney or Universal who go to them all the time. But for me, I always just think, I can go there anytime, so maybe later. And then later is multiple years. I consider it a privilege to be able to live in LA. It's expensive. A lot of people dream of coming here and making it big. And if you can afford it, you can definitely live luxuriously. But I am just really not built for all that. I grew up in a tiny desert town with like no people in it and prefer to be holed up in my house 90% of the time watching YouTube until my brain is mush. However, as much as I want to uproot everything again to live somewhere else less expensive and more compatible with my preferred lifestyle, I do think LA is a good place for me to be right now. Both the YouTube and animation industry are here. I don't need to travel for most of the events I get invited to, and content creators are always visiting for something or another, so I get to meet a lot of fellow creator friends. I can't say anywhere else in the world can offer all these benefits that specifically apply to me right now. And it's also just a lot of fun. I might not exactly like it, but LA is my home for at least the next few years, and I do get to have a lot of fun here with my friends. It's a toxic relationship, I suppose, but I'm sure in a decade when I'm somewhere else and reminiscing on the past, I'll have very fond memories of it all. So I can complain all I want while I'm here, but deep down, I know California has been such a huge part of the most defining years of my life, and I'll hold a very special place for it in my heart for a long time. LAX and the drivers are just excluded from it though. I'll hate those parts forever. I posted a little video, but if you missed it, we're selling Tostada merch for the first time ever because everyone begged and pleaded for it. Please go check it all out. I think everything turned out so silly and good, and she's only available until September 7th. And here's a picture of her for the people who stayed till the end of the video. Okay, bye-bye. As someone who's been telling stories and experiences from my life for way too long, I feel like you've gotten the general gist of the type of person I am. There's very few things I haven't talked about that express new information about myself, but there's a chance you didn't know about this one. It's not that I'm embarrassed or ashamed or even keeping it secret. I've just felt like it can rub some people the wrong way, and I simply haven't really felt like opening that can of worms yet. But it is something I'm relatively passionate about and hope I can navigate the topic in a casual way that's more talking about my thoughts on it, non-preachy style. I'm vegetarian. Based on that build-up, I'm sure some of you thought that was going to be much more important. But look, I'm just trying to establish the tone here. You can never be too careful. It's been almost 10 years since I've eaten meat, and I think the craziest part is that it wasn't really even on purpose. Back when I went to college for a single year, I was living on my own for the first time. To make a long and complicated story short, I didn't know how to feed myself, developed a really unhealthy relationship with food, and it ultimately became this whole thing. It happens to the best of us, but the best of us also know that it's not good for your well-being, and despite how scary and difficult it is, you need to make a change. After a lot of trying and failing to get back into a healthy mindset with eating, I decided to sit down at a computer and study nutrition to feel more confident in my choices with food, and use knowledge to make it all a bit less intimidating. I spent a long time doing my own research, looking into all types of articles and studies on food when I stumbled onto veganism. Despite it being a bit more limited with what a lot of people are used to eating, for me, it sure was a hell of a lot better than what I was feeding myself at the time, which was almost nothing at all. So we take those little steps. I was interested and decided in that moment that I would attempt going vegan to simply see what happens. Yeah, I ended up changing the entire trajectory of my lifestyle with a single, ah hell, why not? I would say I did it kind of wrong at the beginning. Like, I would buy a prepackaged salad from the campus food court that had meat in it and pick it off, which I know just did heavy damage to vegans, vegetarians, and non-food wasters out there, and I'm sorry, I didn't know at the time. It's common for people transitioning from eating meat to not eating it to struggle because it feels like you're removing a huge part of how you normally structure your meals. But since I was eating next to nothing every single day, I really never had that problem. I was adding food into my repertoire instead of taking it away. So basically, the complete opposite situation, which worked out really well. Over time, I started trusting what I was eating again, being a lot more healthy with my relationship with food, and along the way learned about the other positive reasons to go meatless. I don't really want to be the one to get into the nitty-gritty of it all, but if you're curious, there's a lot of environmental benefit, and as everyone knows, it's kinder to the cute little animals. They do some messed up things to those poor baby chicks. But again, if you're curious, you can go down that rabbit hole yourself. Sorry, I'm not touching that one here. Even though I was doing well and not having a hard time eating within the lifestyle, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were still bad habits in my head, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that use the community to spread their own unhealthy, obsessive brainworms around food, which in my opinion can set a lot of people back in their progress and close people's minds to the concept entirely. Everyone knows eating clean and healthy is a good thing to do, no one's arguing that, but it's definitely not achievable for the majority of people 100% of the time with zero exceptions. I would encounter people in the community bashing others for the way they ate their meatless diet, which I believe is overall bad for the greater good of the cause. The way you eat your vegan or vegetarian diet is fine. There's no specific requirement for the healthiness. Eat your junk foods, processed meals. You're not gonna wither and die on the spot because you ate a little bit of something fun. As someone who's tried a lot of vegan foods, I can confidently say there's a lot out there that do not taste good. I'm sorry, people might not like hearing that one, but it's my truth. Might as well do what you want to enjoy it. You're not supposed to suffer. Put it this way, it's way more realistic to eat non-animal product foods that you actually like than force yourself to eat the gross, bland ones that are gonna make you hate everything and give it up entirely. In a similar vein, the vegan community used to be extremely confrontational and judgmental, which has tarnished the perception of the lifestyle for a lot of people. And I've always felt like that stuff has set back the movement way more than if they were more welcoming and understandable and not mean. There's a bit of irony in the idea of veganism is supposed to be positive and kind to all animals when they've been very cannibalistic to people around them. That's my hot take. I'm sorry. I just think in the past, the loud minority of the community has used really rude and obnoxious ways to try and guilt people into converting into this very beneficial and productive lifestyle. It's always rubbed me the wrong way, and because of all the stigma, I used to be very embarrassed to tell people I was vegan from fear of the assumption I was that kind of vegan. And justifiably so, because people have been rude to me for it. Early in my vegan journey, a group of my friends wanted to go to Hooters. Personally, not my first choice, but hey. Now, I was able to accommodate myself when it was just me eating, but going out to restaurants was a bit tricky. I checked the Hooters website to see if they had anything I could eat, and at the time, it said they had a veggie burger at certain locations. Awesome. Now I have to make a single phone call, which I hate. Hi, thank you for calling Hooters. How can I help you? Hi, I was wondering if you guys, had the veggie burger? No. Oh, thank you. Sorry. That was the first time I ever called to ask about a dietary restriction, and not gonna lie, I wanted to kill myself after it. I felt so bad asking at the time, but looking back, I don't know what that lady's problem was. I know you've had to deal with worse phone calls. It's not like I was calling about your Hooters. Yet here you are, getting mad at the veggie burger girl. Luckily though, 99% of people have been fine with it. And I do think the overall view on vegan and vegetarian diets have steadily been going up. When people learn I don't eat meat, I can tell they start mentally scoping out to see where I fall on the meatless personality spectrum. But then I say my favorite food is French fries, and the guard is dropped immediately. Another normal part of the vegan experience is the occasional accidents that slip through. One late night, I was too locked in, and by the time my body registered I was starving and needed to eat that instant, I realized I didn't have any food in my house and most of the restaurants nearby were closed. In a moment of desperation, I ordered the fastest option available, vegan burger from Denny's. But of course, DoorDash complications always strike when survival is at stake, so I watched helplessly as the delivery time got delayed by 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It got there an hour and a half late. The moment the bag touched my withering hands, I was ripping it open and scarfing that burger down like a dying vegan hyena. As the food was hitting my stomach and vision was coming back, I noticed they got my order wrong. I had just scarfed down 3/4 of a normal hamburger. The only way I can describe that feeling is a simple welp. And yes, my stomach was cramping all night. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Never lock in that hard. Once Jacob and I were in Texas sitting down at a Mexican restaurant, I was prepared to struggle with options because, you know, Texas, but saw they actually had veggie tacos on the menu. Wow. Maybe the world has progressed with providing meatless options more than I thought. Even Texas is... Alright, so turns out veggie tacos in Texas can translate to the only thing on the menu that has vegetables. I partially blame myself for that one. Texas was the one that tricked me, but I did have the context clues. Another time, I was at a karaoke party with a big group of friends, and there was a various assortment of food platters. The lights were low and flashing different colors, so it was hard to see which foods were what. A friend and I hovered over one of the platters, and I pointed to one section asking if it was fried pickles. They grabbed one, went, "Yeah, I think so," and popped it in their mouth. As a pickle lover, I was like, hell yeah, and also popped one into my mouth. And as soon as it hit my taste buds, I instantly registered it was a chicken nugget. The friend, knowing I don't eat meat, stood there like a deer in headlights, digesting the fact they failed to warn me their initial assumption was incorrect, led me astray, and kind of indirectly fed me chicken. Everyone in my life has been very understanding and chill with knowing I don't eat meat, but there's still strangers that look from the outside and assume the worst because of it. In James's 7-day vegan challenge solves all your problems video, he nominated me to do the challenge too, but at the very end, revealed the joke was, I'm already vegan. So to anyone who didn't catch that, welcome in on the joke almost a decade later. Anyway, that was the first time the internet learned I was vegan. So obviously there were gonna be some obnoxious reactions to it, even though I was the same person I was before they knew that fact. I still remember this one comment from what I assume was a child that said, "I just learned Jaiden is vegan, and I've lost all respect for her." Literally, how does that fact even affect you, child? I wasn't even the one who said it. I cannot believe he got under my skin with that one. Not because it's mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Just so confidently stupid. This was like 9 years ago, so I assume he's an adult with more sensible worldviews now, but I still hope he's doing bad. Grudges aside, I kept being vegan for many, many years. The lifestyle was really easy when I was eating on my own. The hardest part was honestly how it affected my social life. Whenever I wanted to go to a restaurant, I'd have to check the website ahead of time to see if I could eat anything. My friends were always having to accommodate me. No one ever said they minded, but it still didn't feel great on my end, even being a little bit of a burden. You don't really realize how big food is in culture and socializing until your diet doesn't line up with the world around you. On the flip side, I never thought meeting someone that has the same food lifestyle as you could be such a huge bonding experience. Whenever I meet a fellow non-meat eater, I instantly feel more connected to them, just based on that. Such a warm feeling. Just two veggie eaters in this big, meaty world. Anyway, yeah, after so many years, I'd be lying if I didn't say being vegan started weighing a bit too heavy for me. I started feeling the friction and restraints more than I preferred. So after a lot of difficult mental back and forths, I begrudgingly decided to get a little bit flexible. I say begrudgingly because it felt like I was turning my back on the morals I was living by for 8 whole years. But I figured if I was slowly struggling more and more under the vegan lifestyle, it would ultimately be better to just modify it than grow to hate it and give up on the whole thing entirely. I decided to let some dairy and eggs back into my diet for the versatility of being able to have more options in restaurants, and the few times I might want the flexibility at home. It took some adjusting because, believe it or not, your body will not be used to the taste and texture of food you haven't eaten in a very extended amount of time. But it got easier, and I instantly was so much happier with the heightened ceiling. Also, I very much expected to have turned lactose intolerant after not consuming dairy for so long. Super lucky to have gotten away with that one, no problem. Really counting my blessings there. A lot of people tell me that they wish they could be vegetarian or vegan, but they can't because they just like chicken too much, or burgers, or whatever specific single food they don't want to give up. And to that, I always say, you can just keep eating those things while avoiding the easier stuff. You really don't need to box yourself into the lifestyle all for the pure label. Any little changes make a bigger difference than you give it credit for, and if you can cut out even a single animal product in your life, that's huge. Or even just have it as a treat every once in a while. Again, I feel like the all or nothing mentality with going meatless is the main thing that makes people too intimidated to try, because being able to make little tweaks to your diet is so much more sustainable for long-time commitment than assuming you're suddenly gonna morph into a completely different person overnight. It's not like you have to decide what you're not gonna eat from a single point and never change it until you die. You can add things back in, or even go the other way and try cutting more things out if you feel good about the first adjustment. Some people even just go meatless for 1 day a week, or month, or year. I think if I were to humbly request you take anything from this video, it would be to try and be a bit more conscious about food. I don't want you to try and stop eating meat anymore if you don't want to. Maybe just try and be a bit more cognizant and appreciative of what it is and where it came from. I'll give you an example. Say you buy some chicken nuggets, change your mind, and decide you want to throw it away. It's kind of like you just paid to kill a chicken for no reason. It would go a long way to save it for later or give them to a friend. I don't want to say that in like an accusatory way, but that mentality has changed the way I look at food and my impact. Coming from me, it's okay to buy and eat meat. I just want people to value it more. I felt a lot of moral guilt when I started buying eggs again, but I've gone out of my way to make sure I always buy pasture-raised eggs that came from a farm that makes sure the chickens get to live normal and happy chicken lives. Cage-free or free-range don't really mean anything. It's the food industry lying about not being mean to chickens. So if you have a little bit more resources to transition to other kinder options like that, it's always very beneficial. They unfortunately tend to be more expensive though, so I know it's not a viable choice for everyone, which is understandable. I hope that doesn't come off as preachy. Oh god, who put this soapbox under my feet? I'm trying to find a middle ground of talking about this stuff in an open and non-pushy way while also making sure I can get my thoughts out there. There's just a lot of shady, evil practices in the food and meat industry, so I want to do my best to inform people who do care, because at the end of the day, you do vote with your money. I'm happy and comfortable being vegetarian, but writing this video made me realize maybe I'm finding it a bit hard to be outwardly proud of it. I'm proud of the choices I'm making and the small yet important impacts that come from the lifestyle. But on the other hand, I've seen and experienced enough harsh opinions from both meat and non-meat eaters to understand the whole idea of consuming less animal products still has a ways to go. I stand by the idea that I do think the stigma has been becoming more positive and people have chilled out on both sides over the past few years, but I hope the mentality of it all can continue to be pushed in a more healthy and overall productive direction, because at the end of the day, it really does benefit us, the planet, and animals very much. It might not seem like it when you reach for the dairy-less milk or the impossible meat in the grocery store, or even choose the vegetarian option in a restaurant every once in a while. But it really does. Thank you for watching. I haven't been able to announce it in a video yet, but we released a new Pet Frenzy merch bundle. We've got a tostada beanie, tofu plush jacket similar to the Ari one, cute long sleeve shirt of all the creatures, I know it's summer, I'm sorry, a fun sticker set, and new bandanas to put on the Ari, tofu, and tostada plushes, or I guess whatever plush you would want it on. I hope you give it a look. I think it all came out super cute, and yeah, thank you again for watching, and this is bye-bye for now.
You know the drill at this point. Pokemon faints, it dies, catch one Pokemon per route and nickname it to set up for emotional trauma. But this time we're doing something a bit different. A two-person Nuzlocke. It's technically called a Soul Link, but no one knows what that means. So basically you and person 2 play the same Pokemon game at the same time, following the same Nuzlocke rules. However, your Pokemon are linked, which means if my starter dies, player 2's starter also dies, and they can't do anything about it. Plus, we can only have one primary typing for both of our teams combined. So if I catch a water type and add it to my team, person 2 can't have a water type at all on theirs. And cherry on top, all Pokemon are randomized. I can walk into the grass at any point and accidentally find God. And maybe he'll just kill all my animals right then and there. So with all these new rules in place, I needed to find a player 2. One who's a real Pokemon master, able to adapt, improvise, and strategize all at the drop of a hat. And who else other than Pokemon Master himself? Jacob Alpharad. who at this point in time has a 50-50 Nuzlocke win ratio. Here's our Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Soul Link Nuzlocke. We both go downstairs, barely greet our mom, and immediately beeline it to Professor Elm's lab to see what Pokemon he's got for us, because we don't know. They're random. In case you forgot what I just said, we stroll up to him and he pats Jacob on the head and goes, "Here, choose from these 3. I picked them specially for you. Torterra, Tentacruel, or Ludicolo." Alright, what do I get? Why not Mankey Ariatus? Awesome. Jacob takes Torterra and I take Mankey, and we named them Franklin. On our way to talk to Mr. Pokemon, Jacob runs into a Regirock in a random patch of grass, which just flat out explodes on him. No one died, luckily, but also, oh my god. We get an egg, and immediately Professor Elm calls and tells us he's been robbed and bullied. You really couldn't handle being alone for 10 minutes, could you? On our way back to help a grown adult, we stumble onto a shady figure who scoffs, challenges us to a battle with Pokemon he stole from Elm, which we immediately win, scoffs again, then drops his wallet, passport, credit card, driver's license, social security, Target gift card on the ground in front of us for the world to see. Dude, get your craps together. You can't be doing that when you're a wanted fugitive. Back in the lab, Elm is crying on the floor as the police and our neighbor are trying to comfort him, and the police asks us if we saw anyone suspicious. Yes, we saw his info. Now here we get to name our rival. Jacob and I try to think of someone that we both shared some sort of rivalry with. When we remembered a certain professional Pokemon Nuzlocker has been consistently reacting and critiquing our Nuzlocks so far, some of his comments were more critical than others, and directed at one of us more than the other. Mr. Policeman, his name is Jan. Hi, Jan. Let's see if you can destroy us from the inside out. Anyway, our neighbor takes us out to some grass to show us how to catch a Pokemon, runs into Articuno, catches it in a Pokeball in the green, and turns to us and goes, "See? Just like that." They give us some Pokeballs and we can finally start our journey. We both run around in the grass, and our first encounters are Barboach and Houndoom. This would have been awesome for Jacob if he could catch the dang thing. Since we only had Pokeballs, Houndoom was not getting in the ball no matter what, and we ended up not getting that pair. But you know, it's alright. There's plenty more encounters like Hoppip Farfetch that Jacob accidentally kills, or Geodude Gyarados that Jacob accidentally kills, or Tyrogue Charizard that Jacob accidentally kills. Hey, why do I get this and Jacob gets all this? And why do you keep killing him, Jacob? But finally, in the Ruins of Elf, we managed to catch a new pair. Sandslash, Camerupt. Not bad at all. We tried to name them Michael, but both misspell it, so welcome to the team, Michels. Then on Route 32, we catch Totodile Beedrill, which is also pretty good, mainly for just me. We started combining the two Pokemon to create their names, so we ended up somehow with Bedrodo. We ran into a trainer who had a frickin' Palkia on his team. Fun fact, did you know if you Google Palkia type weakness, Google will tell you that he's weak to Fairy and Salamence? No other dragons, just Salamence. So Jacob and I started joking around every time we saw a Palkia. Oh no, if only I had a Salamence. Uh-oh, don't have a Salamence over here. It was kind of strange how many Palkias we ran into, but that didn't stop us from bullying every single one. So we take on Faulkner, the first gym leader, who has Kyogre Bronzor and Metagross Dragonair. Oh my god. After a lot of difficulty, we both managed to beat him with no casualties. I don't know how that happened, but hey, everyone's alright. Oh, he's gonna take himself out. Oh my god! How about some encounters to lighten the mood? Oh, hello, Shuckle Suicune. That Jacob accidentally kills. In Azalea Town, we challenge Bugsy, who luckily wasn't as stacked as Faulkner. And as we step outside, Jan, who is surprised we haven't been demolished yet, yeah, I'm surprised too, challenges us to a battle, which we also win. Hehehe. We run into Mawile Deoxys in the forest, who someone accidentally kills, and make our way to Goldenrod, where there's a security guard that'll give us both a Pokemon. He hands me a Porygon 2, which I'm ecstatic about, turns to Jacob, and gives him Regigigas, which we can't use because they're both normal types. Of all the legends you had to get, of course you get the only normal type besides actual God. We beat Whitney and in the national park find Piplup Flaffy, which we name Plap. I pitched to Jacob that I'm willing to trade the Bedrodos to make room for this new pair, so he essentially switches Beedrill with Flaffy, which we shake on. Welcome to the team, Plaps. And then my Plap immediately almost gets killed.
Jaiden.
I'll fix it, I'll fix it. Sorry, my bad. We find Dragonair Shuppet, which is an actually insane pair we could use right away. But yeah, I ended up killing that one. Look, I'm sorry, Jacob. It is harder than it looks to catch these things. We pour water on the strange trees on Route 36 that actually turn out to be Cradilly Silcoon. We kinda named them Dilly-Doo and could have added them to the team as death fodder, but we ended up forgetting to. Which is, yeah, a pretty silly mistake, but what's the worst that could happen? Who needs death fodder in a Nuzlocke? Jacob and I make it to Ekritik and walk into the burned tower. As we are about to go down there, Jan runs up and is like, "You're only trying to catch Suicune to make yourselves look stronger than you actually are." And we're like, "No, we killed him a while ago." But he still wanted to battle, probably to show off the Mew he somehow found. We beat him yet again, go downstairs, scare off the dogs, and go challenge Morty. Jacob didn't have any trouble for the team Morty had for him, but for me, I was having a bit of a harder time because he had a Lugia, which neither me nor my team could even handle. All I could do was bubble beam it with Plap and pray I don't get crit one-shot as Jacob just sits there watching. But it ended up working out. We arrive in Olivine and climb the giant lighthouse, almost falling to our literal death along the way. Reach Jasmine at the top, who's like, "Climb back down and go get medicine for Amphi and Cianwood." And we were like, we almost died getting here. Surfing to Cianwood, we encountered Obama Snow Pupitar. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we did catch them. Abomatar joined the team immediately, and suddenly we've got a pretty powerful lineup going on. Also, a random guy in town gifted us a Mewtwo and Weepinbell. Finally, I'm the one with the legend now. But we had to box him because we couldn't have two grass types. All of this sudden shared luck combined with our 0-death win streak got us feeling pretty confident, which naturally means it's time to get kicked in the throat. Specifically by a black belt martial artist. Gym leader Chuck was indescribably tough in the most bullcrap way possible. For me, Jacob had no trouble at all because he's Jacob. He had a Kingdra, which I brought Obamatar out for. Nothing else on my team could really do anything against it. The main drawback of this is Obamatar's Snow Warning ability, which creates hail, damaging every Pokemon, including my own, that's not an ice type, which is pretty inconvenient in a Nuzlocke. I even made a teeny tiny comment about it when I first got him. I'm gonna call it. Snow's gonna kill one of my Pokemon. Kingdra goes down, and Chuck's only other Pokemon, he's only got two, is Frostlass, who, if you don't know, has Snowcloak. Snowcloak makes the Pokemon 20% harder to hit if there's hail. You want to know how many Pokemon in Gen 4 have this ability? 5. 3 of which being Mamoswine. You want to know how many Pokemon there are in Heart Gold Soul Silver? 493. Now, I know these odds sound pretty awful already, but you know what this Frostlass does? She uses Ominous Wind. Ominous Wind has a 10% chance to boost every single stat of the user. She gets the stat boost twice in a row. After a lot of strategizing, we both decided the best option for us would be to send in Michel as death fodder to heal up Plap, because he's the only one that can really do anything at this point. And what happens? Please don't get another stat boost.
He's good. He's so good.
No. Oh my! Frostlass crit one-shots Michel as soon as he comes out. Our first deaths. Poor Camerupt. He was so proud for making it out of Chuck's gym and then just falls over dead for no reason. I got Plap healed up and basically started heal stalling, which, sure, isn't a noble strategy, but come on. After literally struggling against my own bad luck for what felt like hours, finally, Frostlass goes down. Finally. Holy shit. Jacob practically drags me out of the gym and we head to the BC. We decided to add a pair we caught back on Route 35, which was Charmeleon Donphan named Darfel. A fantastic duo. I was admittedly, and I think justifiably, still really salty about what we just went through, but Jacob convinced me that we should just move on. We got our Darfels leveled up and returned to Olivine to feed Amphi the medicine that we picked up so Jasmine would finally do her job. And check this out.
Already done.
You're right. Oh my god.
Look at our two screens real quick.
Nah, it's alright. She also had a Geoxys. We headed to Mahogany Town, catching and adding Nidoran and Bibarel named Beryl to the team. And in the Lake of Rage, Jacob caught a Kyogre paired with my Swalot. We never used this pair, but I just wanted to mention it for reasons. We approached the glistening shadow of the lake beast, activate the encounter, and find a shiny Banerian Donphan. Not you know, the best. But hey, free shiny Pokemon. Doesn't hurt to Oop, I killed it. That's, again, my bad. Sorry. Lance walks up to us and goes, "Hi, I'm Lance." Grabs us by the wrist, kicks down the door to the Mahogany Town 7-Eleven, kills one of the guys in there, and runs into the rocket hideout where he continues to wipe out any living organism he finds down there. Classic Lance. We decided to copy him and beat up all the executives and their power generator. Right before we fly to Goldenrod, we pick up the 7th badge and then continue curb stomping Team Rocket. We were getting a bit too comfy though, and as Jacob wasn't paying attention, mainly because he just got a chicken sandwich, Obamatar was killed by a golem's earthquake. Oh no. That was a really bad blow and stung much more because we weren't paying attention. But we did have to move on, especially since we were literally in the middle of a gang fight. We shoved our way to Rocket Executive and Big Boss Archer and give him a bit of a throat chop so he would calm down and stop doing whatever it is he was doing. And everyone is saved. On our way to Blackthorn, we catch Frostlass Corefish, which put me into a vengeful trauma spiral. You. And then Jacob caught himself both a Suicune and an Azelf. We arrived and took on Claire, who led with a Mewtwo against me, which at this point I shouldn't even be surprised. But all the rest of her team was pretty much a pushover for both of us. Claire's a bad sport and refused to think we were good trainers, so we talked to the old man behind the gym and he's like, "So do you beat your Pokemon?" And we're like, "No." And he's like, "Awesome. Claire, give him the stupid badge." What? So now we can head to the Elite Four. Hey guys, I think you should go fight a horde of Asian women in Ecruteak. So we enter the Ecruteak Theater and start fighting the women, and the second girl for me sends out Ambipom. As I switched to Franklin, it screeched, which I didn't pay attention to, and Ambipom double hit killed Franklin. Our starters died. Dude, that was really sad. We were about to make it to the Elite Four with them, and bam. Not alive anymore. They were with us through everything, pretty much the backbone to our teams. Man, Jan's gonna make so much fun of us when he finds out. As we're still mourning, the last kimono girl rest spams with Wailord. "Do you have any dignity, woman? We're lamenting over here." We try to leave and the girls are all, No, go catch the legendary Pokemon." He's already got 3, so I head to Whirl Islands and Jacob scales the bell tower, and what legends do we find? The legendary Zangoose and Loudred. Finally, we have some freedom again, and as soon as we touch the water in Newbark to head to Victory Road, what pops up from the bottom of the lake but Entei himself? And Doduo. Oh my god! Hello, Dode. That's going in the box because fire types. We catch Cascoon Regirock in Victory Road, and heading towards the exit, Jan sprints up from behind us, and I iconically say, "This is your last chance to kill one of our Pokemon, Jan." And what happens? Oh my god. No.
What happened? Oh. That's not great.
He killed one of our Pokemon. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. Darfell was an incredible pair we've had since the 5th gym, and we really grew to lean on. We lost quite literally half our team right before the Elite Four. We beat Jan for the last time, enter the Indigo Plateau, and immediately bolt to the PC to see what kind of damage control we can do. After a very long time of trying to stitch together the best teams possible, we ended up with this. Ampharos Empoleon, Bibarel Nidoqueen, Beautifly Cradily, Dodrio Entei, and Victory Bell Mewtwo. I know! Wow, Jaiden, super balanced. You've got Mewtwo and Entei and Jacob has a Beautifly. Look, this is the best we could do, I promise. Tell him, Jacob, tell him. Anyway, big deep breath. Here we go into the unknown depths of the Elite Four. Will, Coda, and Bruno were all no problem at all. We breezed right past them. Everything was going great.
This is fine.
Done.
Yeah, he's... Oh my god. It's fine. I win these.
On the other hand, Karen was not as nice.
No, I just mean, what if he does any charge move?
Oh.
Okay, he just did cross chop. He's dead. It's fine. I was safe to fly him. I'm just paranoid. Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh my god.
Oh no. Guys, we're so sorry we got you killed in the first, like, 15 minutes of having you. We ended up getting out of the battle with no more casualties, but facing Lance with a team of 4 each is really not ideal, to say the least. But we walked up to him nonetheless. Whether we win or lose here, this is our last battle. He leads with Fiona and Ledian, which we were both like, ha ha ha, Lance, is this all you've got? And then he hits us with the no. Jacob was up against his Porygon Z, Rampardos, Licky Licky, Zapdos, and Plusle. And even though it's a pretty stacked team, he was holding his own and getting through them really well. On my end, I was dealing with a Giga-impacting Snorlax, which I really had nothing for. I just had to pray for no crits and as many misses as possible. It goes down eventually, and what does he send out next? Palkia. Oh, I could really use a Salamence right about now. This is what we get. We bullied Palkia so much during our journey here. Looking at my team, I don't have anything that can handle Palkia either, except for Mewtwo. And what happens? He gets Spatial Rend crit one-shot turn 1. I am in a lot of trouble. I took so much time getting past Snorlax that Jacob was already done with his battle, so all he could do was watch this massacre from the sidelines. I sent out Dillydoo to confuse stall him and just try to chip away at him with basically nothing. And my god was I lucky, because if Palkia hit one more crit at any point, Dillydoo and the run was over. And I was forced to dance on that line for a long time. But eventually, Dillydoo lands the finishing blow. I was so proud. The pair that we caught so early on and deemed as death fodder was the one saving us. We're so sorry for doubting you, Dillydoo. Thank you for sticking by us and not dying. But that was only half of Lance's team, might I remind you. Plap took out his Sand Slash, which stung, but Bastiodon came out, tanked Plap's Surf, and killed him with Metal Burst. I was in shock with that one. That was our second oldest pair. Ever since our Franklins died, Jacob and I both started seeing the Plaps as our star members. Beryl came out and revenge finished the Bastiodon, and Lance's last Pokemon was big ol' hard-hitting, tanky frickin' Azumarill. I sent Dillydoo back out because Beryl would die immediately, and started the chipping game again. If that wasn't bad enough, Azumarill set up the rain and an Aqua Ring for itself, which turned this fight from, to, this awful one-on-one lasted 10 whole minutes. I slap him, he slaps back, much harder, and then heals, and then I heal. But eventually, Dillydoo wins the stalling battle, and Azumarill goes down. In an unpredictable turn of events, Dillydoo saved us from utter defeat. What an adventure we just went on. Insane encounters, insane bullcrap, friends, death, bullying, and the Dillydoos. Thanks for going on this journey with me, Jacob. I quite literally couldn't have done it without you. And a salute to the buddies we made along the way. Except you.
Within the Pokemon community, there's a set of self-imposed rules you can add to the games to make them more challenging, called a Pokemon Nuzlocke. You can only catch the first Pokemon you run into per route. If a Pokemon faints, it dies, and you can't use it anymore. And you have to nickname your Pokemon to get more attached to them. That means if you aren't careful, you can technically lose a Pokemon game under those conditions. I've wanted to do a Nuzlocke for the longest time. I've started a couple in the past, but never actually got to finish any because busy. But today's the day that all changes. I decided to make a video on my first full attempt at a Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke. Let's see how it went.
After breaking free from the back of the moving truck my mom stuffed me in and introducing myself to the neighbor Brendan, the kid that I always thought was a monkey said that he heard screaming up ahead. Professor Birch is getting mauled by a level 2 Poochiana, so I let his Torchic out and she scratches the crap out of it. He gifts me Torchic for rescuing him and I name her Teriyaki, my first Pokemon. Walking up the route more, I run into Brendan, who challenges me to a battle, where Teriyaki proceeds to also scratch the crap out of his Mudkip. Good job, Teriyaki, you're 2 for 2, doing great. Professor Birch gives me 5 Pokeballs, and the Nuzlocke has officially started. I walked back up to catch my first Pokemon and ran into a Zigzagoon. Alright, not the best, but I can work with this. You know, I think we're gonna have a really awesome adventure. Dude! So Teriyaki one-shotted Zigzagoon with a critical hit scratch, but whatever. Contain your murder a little bit, alright, guy? Route 102 is right around the corner, and that's where I was able to catch Corn the Seedot. Look at us, couple of friends ready to take on the Hoenn region together. After watching the weird kid Wally struggle to catch his first Pokemon, I continued on to Route 104 and found a little Talo in the grass. Aggressive and screams and hungry? Oh yeah, I know your name. In Petalburg Forest, a Team Magma grunt jumps some random professor, so Ari and Teriyaki peck his eyes out. Oh, hello, Shroomish. I'm gonna name you Onion. I make it to Rustboro, and while getting ready to take on Roxanne's gym, Teriyaki kills another Zigzagoon I was about to catch. What's your problem with Zigzagoons, dude? But it turned out alright, because she also ended up evolving. Onion was able to destroy Roxanne with ease, and we got our first gym badge. Exiting the gym, we catch a glance that Team Magma is up to no good again. Something about the scorching earth or something. And this old man exclaims that they stole his Pico. Here's your dog. Also, you're coming with me. The mayor thanks me by turning me into his errand boy, and I arrive in Dewford to give a letter to Stephen. Alright, what do we got? Ugh. Okay, chomps. After finding Steven, it was time to take on Brawly, the next gym leader. Ari's a stone-cold killer and easily earned MVP in that fight. Things were going well, 2 badges in, and the team is looking good. On my way to the next city, I caught a tentacle on the beach. Squidward. And after beating Team Magma and Brendan again in Slateport, it was time again to get ready for the gym battle with Watson. But as I was fighting some trainers, Chomps the Mawile got electrocuted a bit too hard and was killed. Jaiden, let's battle. I want to show you how strong I am. Okay. Ari, this is an electric gym. You're not allowed to fight in here, so you can just wait outside. While battling the gym trainers, Onion evolved into Breloom, and together with Teriyaki, they were able to get another victory. Now we were riding high. 3 gym badges in and no main casualties. With our massive confidence, we decided to take on the Winstraight family's challenge of beating all their family members. I had Squidward out front to get him some experience, but we ran into some troubles with Grandma. Oh god, it's gonna do a high jump kick. We can take him out, but I need a clean switch first. So I had to sacrifice Hushchild the Whismer, but honestly that was the safest move to ensure no one else died. Goodbye, Hushchild. You might be missed. While we were heading to Fall Arbor, fighting some trainers, Ari evolved. Oh, look at my big bird. Oh, look at you. Yeah. We were almost to town, but we had to get through the sooty grass on 113. Oh, jeez. Alright, Barf, get in there with the rest of them. I walked into Meteor Falls to see Team Aqua and Team Magma arguing about water and rocks. Can I go? So get over here. They kept complaining and I had to go up the volcano they were blocking to fight Maxie, the Team Magma leader. That was a hard fight. Onion and Teriyaki were able to take out his Mightyena and Camerupt, but his Golbat hit hard. I ended up having to switch in Ari and double team up to win the battle. Not the most honorable of strategies, but it worked and we're moving on. On the way down the volcano, I ran into a Machop. Oh, hello there, Chad. What? You're a female? Did I stutter? We arrived in Lava Ridge Town and started getting through Flannery's gym. During that time, Squidward was almost killed by a Fury swiping Kecleon. Fury swipes. Oh my gosh, that does a lot of damage. Stop! Stop! But when it came time to battle, he pulled his weight and more. Honestly, with the team, there wasn't much I could have done to Flannery's fire Pokemon, but Squidward came in clutch by learning Bubble Beam, and it was all over for her. Badge 4? Under our belt. Brendan met up with us outside the gym to give us goggles so we could walk in the sandstorms. I found a claw fossil, and Anorith was born. I didn't know what to name it, so my friend named him Gary. Now it was time for the 5th gym. After some training, Chad evolved into Machoke, and the team was leveled up. I started the battle with Ari, and after realizing I was in trouble... Yeah, that doesn't do a lot of damage. I managed to squeak by with more double teams. Ari was barely able to take out the first slacking, so when the second, stronger one came out, I knew I had to use a different strategy. I brought out Onion to leech seed it and try and get more chip damage in, which worked, but he was also killed by Slacking's Facade, which I thought he could take. Chad was able to finish off the rest of the fight, but that was the first death that actually hurt. I'm not crying. Someone's just chopping onions in here. But with every down, there's an up, and Corn stepped up and was ready to fill Onion's spot. While passing through Mauville again, Watson asked us to help him turn off the city's generator, and while down there I found a Magnemite. You wanna come with? Okay. We kept on our way, catching Spurky the Electrike, and while fighting some trainers, Corn survived 2 very close calls. He took a Swords Dance boosted Fury Cutter by Ninjask, and a misclick from me which resulted in him tanking a wing attack from a Talo. No, Corn, no! Oh. Dude, Corn, I'm so sorry. You're such a trooper. Good news is Squidward evolved while training, so that's neat. We arrived in Fortree City, and this was a gym I was really nervous about. Not only did we not have a good team to take on a flying-type gym, but Winona's Altaria is notorious for sweeping teams if she sets up too many dragon dances. I went to the grass to train up the team, and the worst happened. Corn was killed by Pin Missile from a Zigzagoon. Wait, no. Stop, Corn! Corn, no, Corn! You monster, how could you do this? Is this why you kept trying to kill all the Zigzagoons? I want to think that Corn sacrificed himself because he knew we were at too much of a disadvantage going into Winona's gym, and by opening up a space, we could get the type advantage we needed to stand a chance. With a heavy heart, I brought Zip Zap Zop the Magnemite to the team, and realized how much more grinding I was gonna have to do. I had to fight so many Merrills to get Zip Zap Zop on par with the rest of the team. You wanna know how many? The move Thunderbolt can be used 15 times before it runs out, and I had to go back to the Pokemon Center almost 6 separate times to refill it, meaning Zip Zap Zop killed more than 80 Marill that were living in that lake. Winona led with Swellow, which Zip Zap Zop was able to take out, but she immediately brought out Altaria, which made me very scared because I know she's got Earthquake on that thing. I didn't have a clean switch, and I knew no one on the team could take 2 hits from this Cloud Bird, so I ultimately decided that I'd have to have Zip Zap Zop paralyze it in exchange for his death. Goodbye, Zip Zap Zop. You weren't here for long, but your efforts will not be in vain. Oh my god! Somehow Zip Zap Zop lived the earthquake on 2 HP like a mad lad. Corn must have been looking down on us for that one, because there was definitely a 90% chance Zip Zap Zop was supposed to die there. With that string of luck, I was able to switch Ari in for Zip Zap Zop to predict another earthquake, and started chipping away at the Altaria, which was not gonna be easy. She was already starting to stack up those dragon dances, which make her moves even more powerful, and I was legitimately sweating. But with what little luck we had left, Winona got greedy and tried to get in that last dragon dance, and that's when Ari was able to swoop in and snipe that kill. If that Altaria would have decided to attack at any point, she would have one-shotted anyone and everyone on my team. Thank you, Corn. You shined your photosynthesis onto us. From there, I was able to heal up Zip Zap Zop and sweep the rest of her team. The 6th gym badge was ours.
Outside the Safari Zone, I found a Duskull I was able to catch. I tried to have Gary on the team since resurrecting him from the dirt, but he honestly has like no moves that do damage, so I decided to replace him with Sin. We arrived in Lily Cove and I tried fishing on the beach for a Pokemon, but Chad punched the Whalmer I reeled up too hard and killed it. We stormed Team Magma's base, and while trying to get the Master Ball they've got on the ground, an Electrode exploded and almost killed Chad, which was uncalled for. After beating their admin, they escaped into a submarine, and I went on to fight the next gym. Tate and Liza were the first double battle gym leaders, and I didn't realize until too late that I was just a tad underleveled for them. They don't have any more than 2 Pokemon, so I think we should be okay. 42?! Uh-oh. Sin and Zip Zap Zop made a good duo, being able to confuse and paralyze them, but Solrock managed to get off a Sunny Day powered flamethrower in Zip Zap Zop's face, which totally killed him. That really sucked. He put in so much work for the team and really carried us this far. The rest of this fight's for you, Zip Zap Zop. Squidward came out, and together with Sin, were able to finish off the duo, getting us our 7th gym badge. Alright, Spurky, you're up. I think I single-handedly wiped out the entire water Pokemon population between Zip Zap Zop and Spurky. I went to Shoal Cave and caught Blubby the Spheal, and went out to take on Maxie one last time. For some reason, I didn't learn my lesson when being underleveled for Tate and Liza, because I was even more underleveled for Maxie.
Mightyena.
It doesn't go down? This fight was rough. Chad was able to take out his Mightyena, but I resorted to Squidward when his Crobat came out, and luck wasn't on my side here, because Squidward was killed by a high roll wing attack. The way Pokemon works is there's a small range of damage an attack can do. It's not actually the same all the time, and it's kinda based on chance. So even though it looked like Squidward could have lived 2 wing attacks, Maxie was able to get a low roll on the first one, and a high roll on the second, which was the death of Squidward. But it wasn't time to give up. We had to persevere. For Squidward. Ari came in and took out the Crobat, and lived on 1 HP when hit by Camerap's Rock Slide. It was a tough battle, but we squeaked by. Barely. After that fight, I needed to take a step back and seriously grind up the team again. If we were just a bit more underleveled, we would have been murdered. Blubby joined the team and we got to work, eventually arriving in Sutopolis. Steven and the Sutopolis gym leader Wallace were there saying Groudon was in the cave because someone used the wrong orb and pissed him off. So I went in there, walked up to Groudon, and Master Balled him immediately. There's no way I'm fighting Groudon. Now get in the box. While fighting Wallace, Spurky was able to take out his Luvdisc and Celio. Sin beat his Whiscash, and Chad finished off the Milotic. The team was perfect. And after obtaining our final gym badge, I knew we were ready for the Elite Four. We got through Victory Road. Wally tried to fight us for the last time, but he just needs to stop. We exited the cave, and there it was. The final challenge. Here we go. Sydney was up first, and honestly, he wasn't a challenge at all. Chad and Teriyaki were able to take care of his team with ease. Phoebe wasn't difficult either, with Sin and Blubby being MVPs. Glacio was a bit tougher. Teriyaki was able to take out her Glalie, and Spurky could handle her Celios, but her Walrein was the big problem. Walreins are thick, can tank a lot of hits, and can do a lot of damage. I would know, because I have one. I brought out Chad and she was able to get in a good amount of damage, but she was ultimately killed by Blizzard. Sin came out to try and confuse it, but it broke through the confusion and landed a Sheer Cold. Sheer Cold is a one-hit KO move. It has a 30% chance of hitting the target and will fail if the target Pokemon's level is higher than the user's. But even under all those conditions, it hit, and Sin was killed. 2 great team members, down and out. Chad was with us for so long and pulled so much weight, and Sin got us through some really tough battles. Even with those losses, we were able to finish Glacia off and move on to the final Elite Four member, Drake. Drake's got a tough team, But we've got a Blubby, and she wanted revenge for her fallen comrades. She ice beamed every single one of Drake's Pokemon. Just a straight up massacre. And with that, it was on to the last battle. Steven Stone. I was legitimately nervous. I led with Spurky to take out his Skarmory as quick as possible, and Blubby was able to take out his Claydol and Aggron, but then came his Metagross. This might be the end. Metagross is Steven's strongest Pokemon, so I needed to hinder it as much as I could before it started doing serious damage. I knew his Metagross had Earthquake, which would definitely take out most of my team, so I had to have Spurky Kamikaze to get a paralysis off. Blubby came out again, and after a lot of hard work, finally beat the Metagross by spamming Surf. Teriyaki was able to finish his Cradily, and his final Pokemon was Armaldo, Gary's final revenge for getting booted from the team. I brought out Blubby because Teriyaki was pretty weakened, and after realizing she gets two-shotted by him, I knew she was gonna have to die. So with a heavy heart, Blubby pulled off her last Surf, getting Armaldo in the red, and was killed. Teriyaki, the Pokemon who's been with us from the start, who'd seen her friends die in front of her, the OG, refused to let any more murder happen. Onion, Corn, Zip Zap Zop, Squidward, Chad, Sin, Spurky, Blubby. Their zeros and ones won't go down in vain. One good kick to the head, and we did it. We completed the Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke. Teriyaki and Ari were the only survivors, but the whole team put in a lot of work to get us to number 1. A cheers to the true Mad Lads.
This is Asperia, a beautiful place known for its breathtaking scenery, gorgeous mountains, bustling villages, and secrets around every corner. In a forest somewhere, Jaiden can be found playing with Ari and Tofu, her loyal bird companions. She lays back, happily enjoying the sunlight as Ari runs around, disturbing the wildlife, and Tofu eats dirt. Jaiden is the region's very own wildlife biologist. She documents every new animal she encounters in her ecological guidebook, hoping to one day discover every mysterious creature Asperia has to offer. Ari and Tofu help in their own ways, I suppose. As she's writing down this interaction in her book, for scientific purposes of course, a flock of fruit doves flies by overhead. Jaiden immediately recognizes them from their bright white feathers and loud screeches. Very obnoxious ear-piercing screeches. Oh, how nature sure is a blessing sometimes. Just as they pass over, one of the bird calls spooks Ari, who is too distracted with bullying the rat. In a burst of panic from the sudden shrieks, Ari takes off and starts flying away in a fit of confusion. Ari? Ari, stop! Hey! Come on, dude, you're being dramatic. Jaiden calls out to her bird, but he's already too far away. Even if he could hear her, he's way too stubborn to listen anyway. Well, this is just great. After hours of searching for Ari in random bushes, trees, caves, Jaiden finally admits defeat and starts heading to the nearby town of Hollowstone for extra help in finding her bird. Luckily, she immediately spots a noble Hollowstone soldier. Perfect. I'll just go up to the guard and simply ask him if he can help me find Ari. I need your help! It's an emergency! We need to alert the town! Ari the bird is missing! He's gonna die out there if he doesn't eat his daily 5-course meal! You gotta help me, man! Please, help me find Ari! Oh my god, woman, calm down! Just as Jaiden was calmly talking to the guard about the dire situation, someone approaches. It seems like they somehow overheard the conversation she and the soldier were having. Typical eavesdroppers. The person asks Jaiden what happened, but she's too distracted by the fact the traveler has 2 funny little hamsters with them. Hamsters? Who are you? Are you looking for a duel? This is unfortunate because I'm missing my strongest battler, Ari, so you outnumber me in creatures. But luckily, bird-type attacks are super effective on hamsters, so it shouldn't be— Whoa, chill out. I'm Merlin. I heard you need help with finding your lost bird? Phew, they're just here to help. Jaiden wasn't really in the mood to wipe the floor with this kid's hamsters right now anyway. To help, Merlin asks Jaiden which forest she was in when Ari took off. Wait, the forests have names? This might be a bit trickier than everyone originally thought it would be. As the new little team starts retracing Jaiden's steps, they determine the area she was most likely in when Ari flew away was the south side of Ryham. Probably. Luckily, the Hollowstone soldier knows a villager over there that commonly feeds the birds. If anyone were to see Ari, it would definitely be him. With a fresh lead, the Hodgepodge crew head off together on their new quest to find Ari. They can only hope he's not gotten himself into too much trouble, but knowing him, it's quite inevitable. This was the start to the quest line of Jaiden and her birds in the game, and also this video's sponsor, AFK Journey. Me and the AFK Journey team have collaborated to put together a fun little campaign that includes Jaiden, me, Ari, and Tofu. It's also the first time I've ever been featured in a video game, which is really cool, and it'll be active from September to November, so I hope you get to try it out. The new season, Waves of Intrigue, is out today. There's a link to the game in the description for you to download for free. Waves of Intrigue brings with it a wealth of new content, including a brand new map area, the bustling hub city of Rustport, new game modes and characters to recruit, fishing and sailing mechanics, and so much more. There's even new intense pirate and mafia elements that you can explore and immerse yourself with. On top of it all, they've added even more stories and trials to beat if you're up to the challenge. AFK Journey has given me a code for you all to punch in. Use code Tofu and Ari for some exclusive rewards. The link is down below, or you can use this handy dandy QR code. The game is beautiful, massive, and definitely has so much for you to uncover and discover throughout the entire world they've created. I hope you'll give it a try. Thank you again to AFK Journey for not only sponsoring this video, but also putting me into their game in such a cool way. Thanks for watching!
Okay, so it should be going now. The chat has like a 8-second delay, so yeah. Okay, so you might hear some like crumbling in the background, and that's Ari, and I gave him a bunch of treats, so he won't scream. No promises. But yeah. Okay, so it looks like it's going. Oh my god, I'm nervous. I just forgot everything I was gonna say. So, thank you for— that's a good start. Thank you for 1 million subscribers. It's really insane. Like, also tell me if everything's working, by the way. Yeah, it's like crazy to think, like I said in the video that is now going to be deleted. I never thought I was gonna— this is so cliche. I keep cutting myself off. I'm nervous. I never thought it would get to this point. Like, I don't know, I never even knew that I wanted to animate as like a living. Like, all my trial and error and like ever since I started animating, those videos are all on YouTube. So like, it's just me growing as a YouTuber and an animator by myself, blah blah blah. And I wanted to say, now that we're at 1 million, like, people might say like, oh, she's a big channel, over 1 million subs. No, but yeah, like, oh, she's such a big YouTuber, 1 million subscribers, I don't even matter, I don't, like, she doesn't pay attention to me. Like, don't think that. I'm the same person I am now, and when I had 100,000, and when we had 20K, and when I had 0, like, I'm the same person. I've just grown as a content creator, but I still want you to know that, like, I don't know, I'm the same person that I was when no one was looking. Just shut up and play, Jaiden. Okay, so, I hooked up the piano, so it should be, like, better sounding in the computer, but I have to mute my mic, otherwise you'll hear all, like, the dinking and stuff. So I'm gonna play, like a quick practice song, I guess. And also the songs, let's see. I'm gonna play them in order here. So yeah. I'm just gonna... Sorry if I mess up. Yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah, so I'm gonna mute my mic now. I don't know how to do anything. Oh god, you can't hear anything. Oh no, I'm so nervous. Oh, I'm such an I'm such an idiot. I didn't have the piano plugged in. Okay, so okay, so this is I'm gonna replay that song. Okay, so yeah. Let me listen to. So now people in the chat can hear it now. So sorry if it's super laggy. Ugh, I don't know how to fix the lag. So people can hear it now. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna play stuff and then I'm gonna talk. Yeah, that was a piano song, or piano song. That's the Pokemon song. I'll play another one. I'm such a doof. Okay, so hopefully it's less laggy. Little Root, I don't think I'm gonna play that one because I don't know. I feel like it's a little not as interesting. What do I have next on my thing? To the Moon. Okay, I can do that. Yeah. right. That's from a game, if you don't know. It's a really pretty game. It's called To the Moon. And if you played it, then you know why it doesn't have an ending. Like, honestly, in the game, you can just go... and, like, repeat it. But I'm gonna respect the game and the game story and not end it. Because technically I can just like add a few chords at the end to end it, but it's much prettier when it has a meaning. Alright, what's next? It should be fixed now. Or soon. Okay, so it says I'm streaming again. I'm sorry, okay? I knew something was gonna go wrong, and it did. Okay, let me just... Okay. Whoa, there's a spike. Oh god. I had a sticky note over the amount of people watching and I took it off, and now I'm... That's a lot of people. Oh god. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download the first part of the stream, and then download this one, and then just like compile them together, and also edit out all the technical difficulties. And that will go live on the channel. So hello again, everyone. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'm totally a million people sub-channel. I'm so professional. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep playing. You know, nothing happened. It's okay. Okay, whatever. I'll just play Over the Garden Wall again. Yeah, whether you like it or not. It's a good song. Okay. I also forgot to unmute it, so I think everyone was expecting everything to go wrong. Like, the thing is, Ari, that's enough. This, like, proves how awkward I am. Like, I don't lie in my videos. I am very awkward. Ari, can you not? Alright now, Ari. My mom took out Ari. We can get him after I'm done playing. Okay, what's next? Undertale. Okay, so this one's really pretty. I hope nothing goes wrong during it. Okay. Wrong mic? No, I didn't. Okay, so I got freaked out in the middle of it. Okay, I'm gonna restart. I thought I muted the wrong mic, but I didn't, so we're gonna continue. Okay, so I'm gonna group chat, see if it's good. Did it still works? No lag? I'm so happy. Okay. So, other than me stopping myself, in the middle of that, looks like it's a little bit better. Okay. That's making me, my nerves feel better. Now, since we're on Undertale, I think I'm gonna try and play Megalovania. Like, the reason the songs are on I might play is because they're really, like, difficult and I don't really have them down yet. So there's gonna be, like, a lot of mistakes. But I'm feeling like I should try. Because we're in the Undertale phase right now. Okay, I'm just gonna try. Sorry if it's crappy. mess. I didn't mess up as much as I thought I would. I'm happy about that. But also, I can't hear. Remember, I can't hear myself play. So, well, I can. It's like very faint. So, maybe I just didn't hear all the mistakes. Should I move? I forgot to play a Pokemon song. I can play. This one's really pretty. It's kind of. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of like trying to build up the songs because the easy ones I wanted to mess up on first and get my nerves out of the way. And then, so hopefully I'm like used to playing by the time I get to the ones that are actually good. I'm going back to the Pokemon song, and then I'll play Shelter, because Shelter is my favorite song right now to play on the piano. So Pokemon, it's the ending theme, so it's really pretty. And then we'll get to that one. Yeah. Sweet. Sorry I messed up some of those chords there. That was like really bad mess up. I'm like so paranoid now. Like in the middle. Oh, sorry, I'm playing on the piano. I'm like, oh my god, what if my computer exploded in the middle of this? I'm thinking about doing a video about like instruments and recitals that I've done, because I've actually played a lot of instruments. Piano's the only one that I'm like continuing. But yeah, that might be a video. That's a video idea. Alright, so Shelter. I actually need the sheet music for this one. The other ones I have memorized, but I actually need it. So sorry if I fumble with like turning the page. So yeah. Also, I don't know it really. Like this is the most recent one I learned. It's from a short animation on YouTube. It's really pretty. I was like obsessed with the music as soon as I heard it. So, yeah, sorry if I mess up, but I'm trying my best. Okay, I didn't mess up as much as I thought I would. I'm happy I did that. Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna try the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon song and Attack on Titan, but I'm serious when I'm saying they won't be perfect. They're really tough. I'll try Mystery Dungeon first because Attack on Titan is hard on my hands. Like, I'm not the best, like, I don't have the best form, like, you're supposed to be, like, all rounded. But my nails are a bit long for piano, so I have to do a little bit, like, Like I'm supposed to be here, but I'm here. So I don't think you guys care though. And I'm not like a professional. I kind of just I don't like, I took lessons, but I kind of just do whatever now. I just play whatever I want to play. I suggest if you're wanting to do piano or learn piano, take lessons for as little as you can just to like learn the basics and just play whatever you want to play. I mean, I don't know. So I'll try Mystery Dungeon. Like, it's a good song, but the ending is tough, so I might not get that down. So sorry if I ruined the immersion. Okay, I don't know. Okay. It wasn't as bad. I keep expecting myself to do really bad, and it's only a little bad. Well, like, it's not bad, because people are gonna get mad. Jaiden, you're not bad. I can do nothing. Yeah, I have really high expectations for myself, and it's hard for me to enjoy the little things that I can do. The problem of self-confidence problems. So I guess I can do the Attack on Titan one. It's no promises. So sorry if it's, I keep saying sorry if it's bad, but you know, I really apologize this time. So I'm whatever. Just play. So that song, I always play it at the end because it just like, it hurts. Like, da, 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 like I should play, I had a friend in college who was a piano major, and we would like go to the practice rooms every once in a while, and he explained that it's better to like try and be like flowy and like not like tense, but I can't help being tense, so I just work with the pain. Oh, hi Ari. Ari's back. Oh, Ari. Everyone loves Ari. Hi. Wee. Hello. Ari can stay for a bit. So, that's like all the songs I'm gonna play. Maybe I should I play one more? Is there a song that you want me to replay? I didn't play the Totoro one right. I'm gonna try and do that one again. But with Ari I'm gonna put him on the floor because he's gonna like chew the wires and stuff. Alright, Mary had a little M. No. I'll try the Totoro one again. Ari climbed up my leg in the middle of that. You just want to be the center of the tension. Center of the tension. Everyone loves Ari. Everyone wanted Ari in the stream, and here he is. What are you doing? I think I'm done playing piano. Christmas songs? I don't know any yet. Well, I do, but I don't. I have to practice them. So I was gonna get James and Tim in the chat. So maybe they can like talk for a bit and hang out. I can hear you, but they can't, so it's kind of like I'm just going crazy. So I'm gonna not do that. So we tried to get James and Tim in here, but okay. I'm just gonna answer some Twitter questions real quick. It was going well for a bit, and it's got to go downhill again sometime. So, people are saying that I should make a Discord. No, like as much as I want to interact with you guys more, I get really stressed out when a lot of people want to talk to me because I'm used to not many people wanting to talk to me growing up. So I can't handle it yet. Ari, get in the stream because people like seeing you. Want to see the plush? Oh, it's the plush. I don't have... Ari really likes the plush. It's adorable. So, and my little card. I made a card too. I'm gonna answer. Someone said play Megalovania. You missed it. What do I use to animate? I use Adobe Flash, and I've said it in videos and it's in my channel about page. So you gotta pay attention. Let's see, someone's saying just joining the stream. You missed most of it. That's what happens when you're an hour and 15 minutes late. When did I start playing the piano? That's a good question. I started playing, well, my mom put me in lessons when I was 5. So like that's when I started. But I'm gonna take out my chords because it really doesn't matter. So I started when I was 5. I took lessons when I was 5. And I kept, like, I was in them. I enjoyed them. They were fun. But after maybe like in 6th grade, I want to say, they weren't very fun anymore. And they were more just like, get assigned a song to learn for a week and then play the song. And then it's, okay, you passed the song, you can play it. Move on to the next one. And then like the songs don't like matter anymore. And I wanted to play songs that I thought were fun. You know? So just like learn the basics and then do your own thing. Because I'm playing songs that I think are fun. Like video game songs and yeah. But it's important to learn the basics. I'm not like the... He already put his tail feathers up. Let's see. What more questions? 1 million. Did you expect to hit it? No, I did not. I did not expect to hit it ever. It was so like, I was so like, oh, 1 million, never. Like, it wasn't even, like, in my mind. Like, what if? I was like, nope, not happening. And then here we are. That's ironic. Can you sing? No, I will not sing. What age did you start drawing? I don't know, I just drew. There was no, like, specific time or, like, thing I started drawing. It's like, I feel like every kid, like, starts out, like, with their crayons and stuff. And I just kept going with it. I wish, the one thing about YouTube and like starting so early and being so I mean not like successful, but like, I mean I guess so. I don't have time to practice getting better at art and drawing because I'm not at a spot in my art that I'm happy with it. Like I still want to practice, but I have 0 time for anything ever because animating on YouTube is hard. And working against an algorithm that says screw you to animators is hard. And I don't have free time to do the things that I like want to. Like animating is fun, but it's like, it's my job. Sometimes it's not like I have to force myself to do it, but I mean like, I'm making it seem like it's really bad because I'm rambling because I feel like I need to keep talking. But it's really fun. I'm so glad I'm able to do what I enjoy doing. Everyone who's watching, if you're young, take the time you have right now, the free time, because you won't have free time in the future. I always thought that I would have free time, and I don't have any now. So take the time you have right now to do what you want, as in, there's an airplane up here, as in practice, and get good at what you want to do, and just I don't know, just utilize your free time because it's not going to stay there forever. Alright, next question. Are you excited for Christmas? Yes, do you like my Christmas sweater? It's like got deer in it and patterns. Oh, I forgot. Let me... Speaking of Christmas, this girl that my mom knows, she gave me this cute little gift. It's not Christmas. It's not focusing either. That's a little Jack Skellington keychain, and I think it's adorable. So thank you, Caitlin. That was very sweet of you. And Ari's on my leg. Ari. Where did I get my sweater? I think I got it on Amazon, actually. I don't know. Would you ever make a second channel? No. Well, maybe. I've thought about it, but if I did make a second channel, it would be, like, just dumb memes. Like, not serious at all. Let's see. When's the next animation dropping? Next weekend, I'm hoping, maybe. It's Christmassy and winter themed, so that should be exciting. Alright, I'm gonna take a few more questions, and then I'm gonna say bye. What kind of piano are you using? That doesn't matter. This piano is the same one I used since I was 5, so it's really old. And the things that you use, like, people always ask, like, oh, sorry, I burped. Like, oh, what drawing tablet do you use? Oh, what programs do you use? I think you're missing the point. You can do whatever you want, with whatever programs. Like, look at it this way. Say someone was really good at math, and they had, like, a really fancy calculator, and you're like, oh my god, what calculator is that? I want to get that one, so I'm good at math. The thing is, sure, that could help, but you need to, like, practice doing math before you, like, get those big programs and expensive stuff. And yeah, Ari distracted me in the middle of that by being a nuisance, so I hope I got my point across. One more question. Why do you like dogs so much? I love dogs. Isn't that right, Ari? He likes being scratched. Look how puffy he's getting. Oh, he likes being scratched. You like being scritched? You like to scritch? His eyes get closed, too. Ooh. He's like, yeah. Oh, how can you not like animals? Anyway, okay, that's a good place to end it. So thank you for coming to the stream, even though it was 50% a train wreck, I want to say. Bye. Say bye, Ari. Yeah, good boy. Mwah. And yeah, bye. I don't know, there's like a delay, so it could stop at any moment.
I made some new merch designs. Do you like them? I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. Link in bio. Hey friends who live in Canada, what do you think of Canada?
What do I think of Canada? Let's see. Well, when the snow melts, you get to witness the minefield of dog poop that people didn't pick up.
It's cold, but I like the cold because you can keep layering until you're warm. But in the heat, you can only get so naked. And then you just have a sunburn on your butt.
Every summer I leave Arizona to visit my family in Canada because we like seeing them and they're really great. And yeah, we also don't like to live in a volcano. We normally have a non-stop flight, but this one particular trip we decided to do a layover to save some money. I think it was July 2012, so I was like 14. A couple days before our flight, my mom realized that my brother Jack's and my passports were expired. Well, this is either gonna go over well, or it isn't. Oh, it was so much worse. We got to the flight check-in and they said, hey, these passports are expired. Obviously. But it was only by a little bit, so the guy was nice and said, okay, I'm gonna let you all through and inform your layover about what's happening, but get those renewed soon. So we were like, yay, crisis averted. But wait, there's still 95% of the video left. That's because we were wrong. We landed in Minneapolis and the people said, hey, these passports are expired. Obviously. Oh, yeah, we're sorry about that. The man at the Phoenix airport let us off with a warning and said he contacted you about everything, and well, crap, I think we're actually stuck in Minneapolis. I guess this is our new home now, get used to it, kids. So it was my scared mom and her 2 expired children stranded in this obscure city. We went to a pharmacy, which for some reason also takes passport photos, but we had to wait until the passport place opened the next morning. Mom was having an aneurysm panic attack, but didn't want us to worry, so she was like, hey kiddos, time for an adventure. Adventure time! She took us to the Mall of America, which is the biggest, craziest mall in America with 4 floors of shops, entertainment, a mirror maze, bowling, roller coasters, aquarium.
I've never seen anything like it. There were so many things to do. How could we choose what to do first? Roller coasters in a mall? 4 floors? A kid's paradise? People get married in that mall. We ate at the food court for 20 minutes and left because it was closing for the night. We found a hotel and slept in our clothes, even though we had our luggage. I remember on the light rail I said to Mom, you know, I really like it here. Like the oblivious child I was, not knowing the weight of the actual circumstances. Having a grand old time listening to a High School Musical playlist on an iPod and playing with my stuffed animals. I freaking love stuffed animals. As a kid, I couldn't sleep without them. My favorites were Raoul the mouse and Ringo the raccoon. I've had them for years. Anyway, luckily, Minneapolis is one of the few places that has 1-day turnaround for passports for the cost of an arm, a leg, and your entire savings. So in the morning, we had to check out of the hotel, run to the passport place, and make it to the airport in time for our new flight. It was gonna be a tight schedule, but it was doable. We were on our way to get the passports when in the middle of transit, I realized, Mom, I forgot my stuffed animals in the hotel. But no, it's all right. I don't need them. It's okay, really. It's not a big deal. I left Raoul and Ringo in the hotel, and Mom was already having a mental stress breakdown, and I was not at all wanting to contribute to any more of that. But Mom, being the kick-butt awesome parent she is, defeatedly pulled out her phone. Hello, yes, we just checked out this morning. Would you check room 421 to see if there's 2 stuffed animals in there? Ma'am, there's someone currently occupying that room? And that was super weird to hear because we literally just left the hotel. How did someone already fill up the room? Turns out we just called the wrong hotel, so we got transferred to the right one, and they said they'd hold them for us to quickly pick up. So now the schedule was arrive at the passport place right as it opens at 8 a.m., get passports, run back to the hotel to grab Raoul and Ringo, rush to the airport before our 1 p.m. flight, and I'd also like to point out that the last shuttle to the airport leaves at 12 p.m., so if we miss that shuttle, we're screwed. Remember, things were different back in the days of 2012 BU. Before Uber. Back then, the idea of paying to jump in a car with an unlicensed stranger wasn't very popular. At the passport place, we walked up to the desk, and the first thing they said was, "So both parents are present, correct?" Actually, he's 1,645 miles away. No. There was a solution. We could get in contact with Dad, send him a form to fill out, get it notarized, which means legalized by a notary, which means a person licensed by the government approves it, which... Okay, we don't have time for this. We have to prove the paper is legal, but there's a problem to that solution. It's 8 a.m. in Minneapolis, but 6 a.m. in Arizona, which means notarizing places aren't open. Now, my mom knows a lot of people, and one of her best friends is actually an accountant, which means she can get it notarized when she goes into work and get it sent back super quickly. Which, what are the odds of that? Mom, we should buy a lottery ticket if we actually get to Canada. So quick! Woke Dad, got the form filled, called the friend, did the thing, got the thing back, and somehow everything was accepted and we weren't expired children anymore. And off we were running down the city to get back to the hotel to grab Raoul and Ringo. Okay, I'm gonna insert a tiny story detail. We left our luggage at the hotel so we wouldn't have to be dragging it everywhere, which means we would have had to get back to the hotel anyway, but it's much more intense to think that grabbing the stuffed animals was an extra step we didn't have time for, so shh, we're gonna continue. We were sprinting to catch the light rail. Jax and I were running ahead, and for some reason Mom's knee started hurting and she started slowing down. Are you okay? And she was just like, go, I'll catch up, just get to the train, go without me! We made it. We sonicked into the hotel, grabbed Raoul and Ringo, and the luggage we were already coming back for, reached the shuttle before it left, and finally fell into the airport.
Yay.
Sitting at our gate, waiting for the plane to swoop us off to Canada land with their moose and their poutine and Niagara Falls.
Well, technically, Niagara Falls is made up of 3 different waterfalls, and the US actually owns 2 of them. But I guess Horseshoe Falls is the biggest and most popular, so...
Mom suddenly realized that she forgot my dad's letter at the passport showing that both parents consent to us, the innocent, helpless, pathetic children, crossing the border. In the past, security always asks us to show that consent paper, so Mom couldn't even have a relaxing plane ride being stressed out of her mind that we would land and still couldn't pass the border. After all that, she didn't tell us she was worried because she was already doing a frickin' dang good job of hiding the weight of what was going on, so she held it in the entire flight. But she told us afterwards and we gave her a slow clap. She deserved more, but we were kids. That's all we had. We approached the security booth, gave them our shiny new passports. They looked at my mom, my brother, and me. Have a fun time in Canada. They didn't ask that time! My mom, every time she tells this story, always says, they always ask. They always ask. They didn't ask this time. How the frick even? They always ask! And that was that. We got to Canada. That's it.
Wow, that was a lot of effort to come here.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's alright, but you guys have that Mall of America.
Okay, yeah, sure, cool. But I mean, we have West Edmonton Mall, which has an indoor water park and a theme park.
Wait, really? That exists? Well, I guess that automatically puts us on top then.
We were always on top, Dom. We are America's hat.
Woo, yeah, Canada. I had to ask my mom the timeline of events during the whole thing because I was young and don't remember anything but eating in Mall of America and forgetting my stuffed animals. Big thanks to Domix and Gingerpale for being Canadian and also helping with lines. They're great buds. This is hopefully the last time I mentioned this in an end card, but I'm still interested in finding other animators. I talked about it in the Apples video, but this is the last time I'm bringing it up, I promise, I think. I'm still looking for animators to help me with scenes because I want the videos to be more animated. The videos I did in the past on my own are pretty bland looking, and I want to be able to have more quality animation in videos without taking 6 months to finish something. I know people are against me asking for help on videos because my channel has that homemade, it's just a normal person doing YouTube for fun feeling. I'm not professional at anything. But a normal person can't make 7-minute fully animated videos every couple of weeks on their own. Some people might prefer 1 or 2 videos a year that are done only by me, and I get that. But I like posting videos more frequently, not only because it helps the channel and me stay alive, but a lot of people enjoy more videos, and I'm able to support really talented animators I'm working with. That's my take on the situation, and you don't have to agree with me at all. But I'm really trying my best to think of you and me and everyone. Okay, thanks. Send a portfolio to Jaiden Animations animator at gmail.com if you're interested. Info in the description. Have a good rest of your week, and here's Gingerpale being Canadian.
Moose maple syrup, a healthcare. Poutine.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've had a story to tell, but I have a story to tell, and it's because my birds accidentally laid eggs together without my consent. Okay, so let's back up. I'm sure the majority of you know this guy right here, Ari. Classic piece in the Jaiden Animations lore. If you don't know him, you don't know me. I keep Ari in his own room because he destroys literally anything if he has access to it. In a way, you could call it a containment room. But when I'm not around to give him attention, I wanted to make sure he has a friend around and isn't just sitting there all alone and pitiful-like. So back in October 2019, I got Tofu, which, oh my god, I'm just realizing is much longer ago than I thought. Tofu, I thought you were still just a baby. She definitely isn't as well known as Ari, but we're talking about her now. I was so nervous back when Tofu first arrived because I obviously hadn't gotten any other pets before, and it was really important that she and Ari actually got along. Birds can be pretty particular, and some just flat out hate each other for no apparent reason. Some sort of bird drama or something, I don't know. I was worried my birds were gonna mean girls each other, and then suddenly I'd have 2 singular birds, which then doubles my original problem. I went through the typical process you're supposed to do to introduce them, keep them in separate areas for a bit, let them kind of see each other, slowly introduce them in small doses, and suddenly they were best friends. I was so happy. Plan B of having to get 4 birds was now not necessary. So great, everything was going according to plan. I have 2 birds that can keep each other company when I'm not around. Nothing could possibly go wrong when there's a pair of animals that get along very well. It was a peaceful, happy 3 years of 2 birds who were besties until this past spring where everything went wrong. How could this happen? I walked into the birds' room to give them their morning food, and on their dresser, I find 3 tiny little eggs. Oh, uh-oh. And by the way, when I say tiny, I mean you would be shocked to see how small bird eggs can be. These things were the size of a quarter. Some of you may be thinking, Jaiden, why is this a bad thing? Jaiden, it's the gift of life. This is a beautiful moment of miracles. Okay, sure, but actually, no. First of all, I don't want more birds, especially fragile little fresh out the egg ones. Remember when I was worried I'd have to get 4 birds if Ari and Tofu didn't like each other? Why am I experiencing the same dilemma again? 2 birds is already enough, especially since one of them has devoted his entire life to being a full-time bastard. Anyone who has a gremlin pet understands that that creature is equal to like 3 pets worth of energy. It's a lot to handle at all times, and if my plate gets any more full, I'll unlock alcoholism. Second of all, this is now my problem that I need to handle ASAP. I can't be like, oh, I'm busy right now, I'll deal with it later. No, procrastinating would only lead to possible hatching. Not 100%, but there's a chance, I'll get to that later. Which leads back to my prior statement that I've stated multiple times at this point of I don't want more birds. Immediately, I was like, how did this happen? I've been preventing them from laying eggs together for so long. What changed? Unlike cats and dogs, birds can't really be neutered, at least not easily. You could give them like monthly hormone shots or there's other stuff, but it's just really complicated, and you're better off simply making sure their environment is set up in a way to discourage nesting and egg laying behavior. There's a few things you could do to prevent it, but to sum things up, basically don't let the birds nest. If they find a dark little hidey hole, they'll start treating it like a nest and get hormonal, and suddenly you've got eggs. No nesting, for the most part, no problem. I looked around the room and was so confused. All they had in there were their cages, climbing tree, and a drawer I bought to hold all their bird stuff. And the eggs were just on the top of the drawer too, not even in a safe burrowed nest-like place. One had already rolled off the side and cracked open on the floor like an omelet. Tofu, this is not even close to motherly instincts. After a bit of snooping around, I pulled the drawer back from the wall to realize, oh my god, these birds have been secretly burrowing into the back of this drawer like they were plotting a prison escape. Somehow, Ari and Tofu squeezed their tiny bodies in between the drawer and the wall and started chewing the back of it to get into the drawers from behind. They literally gnawed through it like the nematodes in SpongeBob. You should have seen all the sawdust on the floor. Well, here's a picture, but it doesn't do it justice. It looked like a construction site and smelled like Home Depot. Suddenly it made sense. They were using the drawer as a secret nest. Whenever I was in the room, they were out and about. Hi, Mom, please give us seeds. Nothing nefarious is going on. I leave, and boom, straight to the forbidden nesting drawer they go. Criminals. As I'm connecting the dots on how we got to this point, I realized I don't even know which one of these knuckleheads even laid the eggs. When I got Tofu, I made sure she was a girl. A little lady. I talked to one of my bird knowledgeable friends when I was considering getting another, and she recommended a female bird because there was a higher chance Ari would get along with her more than a male bird. So Tofu has been DNA checked and female certified. However, way back when I got Ari, I never got him/her checked. Green cheek conure genders can only be confirmed through DNA tests, and there wasn't really any important reason to know Ari's gender at the time, so I just didn't. Over the years, I've just started calling him my big man because of the way he acted and behaviors he displayed felt very obnoxiously masculine, but it was always more of a gut feeling above anything else. But I am now facing a possible reality that my bird I've had for 7 years that I've been headcanoning is male could have been female this whole time and is the potential mother of these confusing eggs. Because yes, birds don't need a male around to lay eggs. Think about it like chickens. They just be laying eggs out the wazoo without a rooster in sight. They don't care. Boom, egg. If it's a girl bird, that thing can lay eggs whether you or a male bird wants it to or not. So in this situation, Ari possibly being a girl is the thing that's blowing my mind the most. But one quick peek at their little bird booty hole swiftly gave me the answer. It was definitely Tofu. If you know, you know. I'm just saying, laying 3 eggs a quarter the size of your whole body biologically does something to you. Anyway, I immediately booked a vet visit for Tofu. Laying eggs drains birds of their calcium and overall health, so I wanted to make sure she was generally okay. The vet took a look at her and was like, she looks fine, she's acting fine, we'll give her some vitamins, but she's still got more eggs in her. What? Tofu, how many of those things you're gonna cook up? Also, we gotta limit this whole ordeal to as minimal as possible, please, because that vet bill was not fun. We can't be making this a routine occurrence. It's no mystery laying eggs can also be pretty dangerous for birds. There's a chance it could get stuck and the bird just dies. And to be honest, I really didn't want that to happen. So every egg meant an extra mountain of stress and anxiety for me! Yippee! The vet told me conures typically lay eggs every other day, so once she goes a few days without laying any, then I can come back and get her another checkup to really make sure she's all good. So I let time pass, and in total, Tofu ended up laying 8 freaking eggs! She was not supposed to lay that many. Normally conures lay clutches of like 4 or 5, so she basically laid 2 birds worth of eggs. I don't know what to do. But alright, she's finally done. We can now move on to the second step in the what to do when your bird lays eggs without your permission plan. I have to swap out the eggs for fake ones. If I just yoink Tofu's eggs away, she's gonna be like, what the my eggs? Dude, what the hell? I just laid those. And she's biologically programmed to start laying more to replace them. Luckily, my friends Jordan and Kelsey had some fake conure eggs because coincidentally, their bird laid eggs like 6 months prior to Tofu, so they already went through this process and were definitely supplying me with mental support. They lent me their fake eggs, I swapped them out, and perfect. Tofu is now trying to be a mother of 8 balls of plastic. After a few weeks of them not hatching, she'll move on, forget all about them, and everything will return to normal. It was a successful heist, as in I gave them both treats, stole all their eggs right in front of them, and they did not notice. You might be realizing, even though Tofu's eggs won't hatch, I still am in possession of actual real bird eggs that may or may not be fertilized. Yep, as much as Ari could have been the mother, he could also be the father. We don't know. Big drama. Are you the father? More like, is there even a father? After consulting with the vet and various bird resources, I basically had to make sure no birds could start growing in them just in case. Even though it's very likely they were just empty little chicken eggs, we couldn't run the risk. By the various resources aforementioned, I was given a few options. I was told I could smash them, which felt a tad bit too violent for me. Oh, Tofu, are these your little eggs? The first eggs you've ever laid in your life? Absolutely not. I could freeze them, just put them in a little container, pop them in the freezer, and there you go. But the last option, which sounded the most insane in my opinion, was to boil them. Make tiny little boiled eggs. Why does that one sound the most deranged and psychopathic? I know people consume all types of bird eggs all over the world, but boiling my own conures eggs just feels way past the line in mental sanity. So I popped them in the freezer to hang on to whatever humanity I had left after all this, and they've been there ever since. I still have them. I'll go to grab a popsicle and be like, oh, hello, Tofu eggs. I don't know. Even though they won't hatch, they still feel special. They're my little baby Tofu's little baby eggs. I don't want to just throw them away like they're nothing. I'll just keep them in my freezer forever because that's somehow the most sane option I was given. Some people might be like, Jaiden, you should have tried to let them hatch. But you do not understand. I am absolutely, definitely not qualified to raise baby birds. I promise this was the best thing to do for everyone. For me, for the eggs, for Ari and Tofu. God knows Ari would have been an awful father. Or mother. So that's what I've been dealing with over the past few months. Tofu's fine now. She's essentially back to normal. I have since removed the secret nest drawer they have claimed. I'm sure they weren't too happy about that one, but hey, you reap what you sow. People will tell me, oh, you're the reason I want a bird. And I always think to myself, man, that's unfortunate. The majority of people are not suited to own a bird. Case 1, they can cut through furniture like chainsaws. Case 2, they could lay eggs and curse you to put them in the freezer like the egg murderer you are. Or worse. I love my birds with all my heart, but if anyone ever asks me if they make good pets, I turn into the biggest hater. And if you're a good bird owner, you'd probably agree with me. Birds are beautiful, intelligent, loyal companions. But they're also knife tornadoes who can force you to question your own mortality as you spend a fortune on vet bills.
Thanks for watching. Hey, by the way, do you want to see me in person in the flesh? James, Ross, Dom, Aaron, and I are all going back on tour again. Imagine going to a funny improv drawing comedy show but there's no children. And I swear, live on stage, right in front of you. That's right, if you're 18 plus, you should grab tickets to our Scribble Showdown After Dark show. Check out scribbleshowdown.com to see if we're coming to a town near you. I hope to see you there, and also happy almost 2024. Time is but an illusion, and we're all aging too fast for our souls to truly absorb the meaning of life. I hope you enjoyed the little story about my birds. Bye-bye.
You want to hear what the best intro is for this video?
What?
I'm using Clip Studio Paint to draw, and James is using Paint Tool Sigh. I don't want to see any comments. Okay. So hello everyone, again.
Hey, we're back.
James is here from The Odd Ones Out, if you didn't know him.
I'm the odd ones out.
And I'm Jaiden.
Obviously.
This is stupid. This time we're gonna be doing Pokemon drawings, but we're gonna do Pokemon fusions. Yeah. So James, you haven't drawn any Pokemon fusions before.
You're right, I am severely out-practiced.
I have dabbled a bit, but it's been a long time, so I don't know how this is gonna go. What we did was we each chose one Pokemon for each round, and we have to fuse our two Pokemon for that round. So my Pokemon that I chose for this round is Weavile.
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 Okay, good. So the one I chose is Cubone. So
This is gonna be interesting.
you have to draw the skull of that Pokemon.
I mean, I don't have to.
I mean, whatever.
Have you been playing Pokemon Moon or Sun?
Sun. Yeah, I've played it for about 2 hours, and I have not picked it up since. Does this Pokemon have an evolution?
Weavile?
Yeah.
He is the evolution.
Oh, he is? Because I was thinking he should be wearing a skull of its parents, but whatever, I guess. So this is a bit off topic from Pokemon, but have you heard about this guy named Donald Trump?
I think I have.
In the 90s, he made a board game. So there's
Did
a
he?
board game about Donald Trump. Yes. It's like Monopoly, but Donald Trump.
So you can like buy the Trump Towers.
I don't know, but as soon as I saw it, I bought it. I
You
just went on
really?
Amazon and I bought it. Yes, and I bought the most expensive shipping.
Wow, you're excited about this.
I know. I have not started off strong this round, to be honest.
The thing on Weavile's head kind of makes him look like a pharaoh. If King Tut had a Pokemon, he'd probably choose Weavile.
I'm trying to get it so it's obvious that this is a skeleton, not some weird alien. Speaking of Egypt, this is your video, so you're going to be the one who has to edit this.
I wonder if we're gonna accidentally have our videos be the exact same time like we did last time.
That was
People think
totally
we planned that.
No, it
Oh.
totally was planned, remember?
Yeah, totally was.
I have a bad feeling that my part thing looks a lot worse than your thing.
I don't think that art is relative to how good it is.
Wise words.
It's just the idea behind it. Do you think hands are like one of the hardest things to draw? A lot of people think that.
You know what's funny is my characters don't have fingers or nothing, so he's going to be holding an icicle. Yeah.
Nice.
Because he's an ice guy. I was trying to do his fingers like the Cubone fingers, but they just ended up looking like Lego hands. It looks like he's wearing a scarf, which is fine. He's cold.
What would this name be?
With the wee bone. I know. That's not a good
Let's
change.
change it.
Cubile. This video just got a lot inappropriate.
All right, are you done?
I'm done.
All right.
Oh man, we spent 30 minutes doing that?
Oh no!
Oh wow, yours is wow.
Aw, yours is cute. You went the more cute route.
Yeah, yours is really good. Crap,
Thank
it's
you.
like really well made. I'm going against a professional.
Okay, so my Pokemon for this round is Sandslash.
Sandslash? Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, have fun fusing this boy up. Umbreon.
I like Sandslash a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's a cool dude. I think these actually fuse really well together.
Are you really? Because I was going to say I have no idea. See, I'm doing like messy sketches, and your sketches are very clean.
I'm a clean sketchier.
that's not it.
Sketcher.
Clean, sketchier.
People always say like, do you have any art tips?
My advice is to just start.
Just draw whenever you can.
Even just a little doodle.
There's no right way to draw. It's just whatever works for you. So even if you think like, oh, no one does this, I need to not do it. You don't have to not do it just because no one else is doing it. You shouldn't really compare your art to people because
That's true.
at one point they were at a spot you were in.
Oh yeah, good advice.
Like, oh, I'll never be as good as this person because they
I'll
draw
never be
so
good
well.
as James. Look at this.
You know what would be cool as well? If people played along with us
Oh yeah.
and they tweeted at us their drawings.
I'm just imagining what Jaiden's drawing and how much more professional it looks, I guess.
Don't compare. We just
You're
talked
right.
about this.
We just talked about this. You said that these two fused well together? Crap.
I think
no.
so.
Not going for cuteness. I'm going for how I think that actually is. Actually, no, I should just go for cuteness. What the heck?
Cuteness points. I need to make sure that I'm more lively when I'm talking, because I just realized
That
I'm
is
totally
true.
focused.
That is true. I have been like in the zone, so I need to be like, yo, Jaiden, have you ever heard about Donald Trump?
Let's not get into that. The comment section will be a war zone. My voice is actually really monotone and soft as it is.
I feel like everyone's voice is always just not as exaggerated and excited as we are for videos. Your drawings, this guy, he's like doing something, you know? He's like, woo, what's he doing? But my guy, it's just like, he's standing there. That's what
I
he's
saw
doing.
this, I can't remember where I saw it, but a really good thing that I go by is like the coffin rule, where if you drew a box around your character, try and not make it so they're in a coffin.
He has a frisbee in its mouth. Oh yeah, what would its name be? Sandbrion?
Sunbrion. It's like a dog. I would have him
Yeah.
as a pet. Like, go get the mail, Sandbrion.
You like color yours and add little white highlights. I chose Blaziken.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. I chose Scizor. This is gonna be freaking metal. Everyone thinks my favorite Pokemon is Torchic. But it's not. It's Blaziken. You fake fans. I'm just kidding. My favorites are Blaziken and Walrein. Walrein is great.
So you know how Blaziken has like a V on its head.
I think
and
we're doing the same thing.
the other guy has Scizor has like a W. So I put in 3 sharp and pointy ones.
Oh, you're so creative.
Yes. If I make it look intentionally derpy, then be like, oh, it's adorable.
You like to go the cute route.
I do. He's angry. I want him to, you know, be doing something like punching something or, you know, like, yeah.
Scizor's claws kind of look like another creature because it's got like the dots on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Guy's like, Meh!
Well, now I'm distracted. So then you can like add like legs and then like a tail and I've given up going for the derpy look.
What look are you going for it now?
Right now it's I don't know. Maybe he could have 1 claw hand and 1 fire chicken hand.
I wanted to see if I can resize this head.
Are you already in the coloring phase?
No, I'm in the resizing the head phase.
I feel like I just gave Blaziken claw arms. Let's just finish this. I want to be done.
He's really chubby on the legs though.
Oh, I like the little claw toe, you know, right at the end. That's smart. That's good. Dang it.
His name is Reuniclus.
And then the one I chose is a
Abomasnow?
Oh, you got it.
I thought that the jelly characteristic of him would make for an interesting fusion. I don't know how I'm gonna draw his mouth. He kind of looks like a frog right now. Ugh, this looks strange. I don't know how to approach this one. Oh god.
Aha!
I'm restarting.
Well, I have already started. Good. I'm proud. I'm good. I'm so far happy with this.
You know what really bothers me?
What?
When people write credit to the original artist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you really think that's helping anyone?
And then we encase the whole thing in encase the whole thing in jelly. That's the thing I've learned is that sometimes more doesn't always mean it's better.
Yeah, it's very easy to overdo it in art. Part of art is knowing when to be done.
That's true.
Because, I mean, you can always be adding extra stuff.
But then it gets too busy.
Yeah.
What would this one be called?
A Abomasnow.
Hey, that's good. That's cool.
He's adorable. He's like one of those really angry, but he's like so small, you're like, aw, you can't be angry. You're not a threat to me.
I like the little sideburns on right here on the side that you gave him. Zebstrika.
Ooh, and then mine's Dragalge.
One is a zebra horse and one's a seahorse.
Are we scientists right now?
Yeah. Why must we play God? The seahorse has so much crap on top of it. Okay, I have the idea in my head, and I think I'm going to butcher it. People out here watching this probably think I'm good, and I think I'm. Holy crap, okay, no, I'm bad. There's like people drawing fan art who are better than me.
Yeah, it's always like, oh, you're the one that needs all the recognition and not me.
Yeah. The thing about doing YouTube videos is that you don't need to be a good artist.
If you're bad, you don't have to brand yourself that you are good.
I don't know if you knew this, but like Grade A Underway was a math teacher, and he got fired from that job, and I was going to school to be a math teacher, and I dropped out.
That's 2 less math teachers in the world.
YouTube has stolen 2 math teachers.
Are zebras counted as horses?
I think they're like cousins or something.
They see each other at Thanksgiving.
Were you the type of kid who wanted a pony?
No, I wanted dogs.
My twin sister like wanted to say, can we get a pony? And then my mom was always like, where would we put it? And we would like, good point. Last time we did this, I thought I went a little too easy on you. This time though, I think I know who I'm going up against. Yes, I am a coloring master. Hey, we both did the little front hooves sort of thing.
Yeah, yours is like a minotaur.
Yeah. Okay, final round.
Final round. I went a bit all out with oh god.
I mean, hey, it's final round.
Tyrantrum, and I chose Deoxys.
Ah, what am I going? How do you do this? You know what? I'm gonna pull out all my cards. He's gonna be derpy. I have given up.
This is turning out to be a joke. This poor thing. Who hurt you?
This is an abomination, to be honest. This doesn't look like either.
I don't know what I think about this round as a final ending round.
Yeah, this is how we're ending off. Why am I like erasing parts of it? I'm like, no, it doesn't look good. It's like all of it doesn't look good. This is the best legendary dinosaur I've ever seen.
They need to hire us right now. It's getting worse by the minute.
To be honest, I can't even tell what's what anymore.
I don't know about this round. He's so cute. He's like if he had a pre-evolution.
If the two of them combined had a pre-evolution. I like how we both had the hands. We had the hands as the noodle. Yours is okay. Yours is actually I can tell what's going on.
It's like a cluster of just throwing things in there.
So what have we learned?
We have learned that I don't think we learned anything. What was the one you're proud of?
I think the fourth one.
All right, so now you should go over and watch James's video.
Yeah, if you haven't already done that.
So, yeah, bye.
Bye.
I was really surprised with how many people enjoyed hearing about Tostada. Like, there were a lot. So it's about time I tell more stories, because she's somehow gotten even more creaturous since the last video. Tostada, we can say she's gotten very needy, as well as very comfortable with using her voice. There's been plenty of times where I'll be working in silence until she waltzes into the room and disturbs the peace by meowing and yelling to beg for attention. I always give in whether I have the time or not, but it's unintentionally taught her that if she just gets louder and louder, eventually she can get her scratches. By being kind, I've created a very pathetic and loud cat. Sometimes Tostada will walk into the other room, get confused that no one is around, and start echolocating for help until I shout for her, to which she prances happily into the room as if she wasn't just distraught. I don't know if she does this because she actually is lost, or she just wants to hear me call for her, but it happens multiple times a night. Once Tostada was downstairs and howling for me to call her, so I walked out to the area above the stairs where she could see me, but something must have not connected right in her little brain, because instead of going up the stairs that she goes up and down every day, I watched her blank little eyes glaze over, trying to compute what to do. Mom's up there. Tostada's down here. Tostada wants to go up to Mom. Walking forward doesn't go up. Mom's making circles with her hand. Pointing. Don't understand. Tostada wants to go to Mom. She forgot going up the stairs takes her upstairs. If she really needs my attention and howling nonstop hasn't worked, Tostada started pawing at me. She's really not all that coordinated, so I'll be doing something and suddenly feel the shakiest little paw on my arm. One morning I woke up to a shaky paw on my face, so guess how I wake up every single day now. Tostada loves to lay on my computer because it's so warm, but since her balance is so god-awful, she's fallen off way too many times for me to believe she's got any sense of cause and effect. Normally, she'll notice just a moment too late and struggle to catch herself in whatever pitiful way she can. But the most recent time, she just did not wake up at all and bounced off the floor like a bowling ball. Poor thing opened her eyes and all she could muster was a confused little At some point, Tostada realized she absolutely loves getting little head kisses, so she comes over and begs for them multiple times a day. This is very cute, and I love giving them to her, but there was a time I was too busy to stop what I was doing, so after meowing and shaky pawing, she discovered a new way to ask for attention, standing directly in front of my face and headbutting me in the mouth. I don't know how she consistently innovates new ways to get me to pay attention to her, but can't connect the brain wires to remember how to leave a room by herself. We discovered that she has a favorite Pokemon. When Tostada isn't sitting on my neck with her heavy-ass paws or falling off my computer, she's typically at her follow-up spot, which is curled up on my life-size Furret plush. I have a Furret sitting behind a few other plushes up against a window, so I think it was the perfect setup for her to feel safe and secluded while also being able to look out the window to chirp at the birds and squirrels outside, which is really cute. I didn't realize cats could do that. Eventually, I think she just started associating Furret as a bed because she started sitting on another Furret plush I own. Tostada loves Furret a lot. It's her favorite and it's adorable. So one of her favorite things to do is sniff. I know it's a common cat thing, but Tostada outsniffs the other cats combined by an insane margin, and for really no reason other than it brings her joy. I've walked around our home with Tostada held up as high as I can get her so she can explore all the scents she's too small to experience. I can tell she enjoys it because she purrs real loud the whole time in between inhales, and I've somehow taught her the command "wanna sniff." I'll say it while stretching out something new, and she happily prances over to take giant whiffs for a little too long. Tostada particularly enjoys sniffing freshly sipped water bottles. I'll take a swig, and somehow she spawns next to me with her peepers, knowing I know what she wants. I swear I don't have bad breath though. Don't spin it in that direction. My breath is fine and minty and fresh. It's the cat that's abnormal. There's only one scent she despises, and that's orange juice. Apparently, cats have a natural aversion to citrus in general, but it feels like it hits Tostada harder than average because she makes the most upset, betrayed face before running out of the room. Despite knowing the scent of orange juice and knowing she doesn't like it, she still comes over and begs to take a whiff every time orange juice is in the cup because she's completely blinded by her love of sniffing water. The result is always the same. It's like watching her be prisoner to her own mind. But one fateful day, Jacob and I witnessed Tostada encountering something even more potent and evil than orange juice. We were cleaning up the kitchen from hanging out with some friends the night before. Tostada jumped onto the counter and spotted something she's never seen before. An open bottle of alcoholic margarita mix. Before we could even warn her, she hopped on over, took a sniff of the opening, and I crossed my heart, I'm not exaggerating, did a backflip in revulsion. Part of me felt like I failed as a cat parent to protect this innocent thing from the horrors of what true stench could look like. And the other part of me was just laughing on the floor. It was so funny. You guys already know Tostada's super paranoid with noises. There's not a single sound she doesn't think means instant threat. But I should mention there's an asterisk because for some reason, any noise I make is completely fine. Jacob scoots the chair a bit, deer in headlights. I open mouth sneeze in her face. Must have been the wind. A plush falls off the shelf and lands softly on the carpet, running for her life. I suddenly burst out into a coughing fit, doesn't care. Those examples might actually, to be fair, be related to the fact Tostada loves when I get sick. Even though I'm coughing and hacking and sniffling at full volume, the only thing she cares about is that I'm in bed all day, which means she gets to cuddle way more than normal. I really enjoy it. She keeps me company while I sit there rotting and watching movies all week. The only complaint I get from her is if I cough a little too long, she gives me a side eye like I'm ruining our awesome little relaxation day together. But yeah, besides that, this cat is scared of everything else that does not pertain to me. When I got the Tostada plush in the mail, she actually hated it and wouldn't go anywhere near the thing. Her tail got real big and fluffy, and her eyes somehow got even rounder as she froze in fear for her survival. against herself. Apparently, she wasn't the only one. A bunch of my friends also said their cats hated the Tostada plush. My overall findings estimated around a 50-50 split on whether a cat will love the Tostada merch plush or try to gouge out its jugular. I unironically think the giant cartoon eyes perfectly trigger their built-in instincts to say this stuffed animal is a giant predator. So all I'm saying is if you get the Tostada plush that's now an evergreen product on my merch site, just to see if your cat is a Tostada lover or hater, you'd be contributing to the community field research. It was a bit too hot out last summer, so I turned on my ceiling fan for the first time. Tragically, since Tostada's never seen it move before, she was petrified and refused to come into my bedroom anymore. Normally, her fears don't interrupt her or my daily life, but I was really upset she wouldn't fall asleep curled up on me anymore. The fear of the in-motion fan overpowered her love of bedtime, and it was a dark period for the household. Eventually, I was able to condition her to the fan, but she still needs to look directly at it for a bit every once in a while to make sure it isn't gonna fall down and slices into cubes. How ironic it is that my birds, who can be killed by a ceiling fan, have no fear of them at all, but my cat, who cannot be killed by the ceiling fan, needed exposure therapy. I think the objectively wackiest thing Tostada is actively terrified of is Frasier after he gets a haircut. Once a year, we take Frasier to get his fur shaved down because it gets way too long for him to take care of, and he quite literally will try to slit our wrists if we try to brush him. It's been the best system that works for all of us, excluding Tostada, because she suddenly doesn't recognize him anymore in the slightest and is horrified at the scary new intruder in her home. From her point of view, she witnesses her best friend get hauled out the door and go missing for an hour until some strange ugly freak comes in to replace him, and no one seems to care. The first time this happened, Tostada was so distraught that she actually hissed at him, and up until that point she hasn't hissed at anything, so I knew she was going through levels of distress she's never experienced in her tiny sheltered life. We would try to mediate and help her realize the scary flat cat was actually her buddy Frasier all along. Tostada, you love Frasier. He's been around all your life. You cuddle on the couch together all the time. Just take a sniff. I assume it's probably the shampoo that the groomer uses that washes away Frasier's familiar scent. And then, of course, he looks different. So nothing about Frasier is recognizable to Tostada at all anymore. We quite literally have to wait out an entire week for him to grow his fur back out a little and have his natural smell return. Of course, Frasier is very vain, so he takes a hit to his ego every time Tostada freaks out and runs away from him. We watched so many times as he tries to show her that he's the same old Frasier. He'll sit in the doorways of rooms she's in, slowly try to approach and get close to her, but every time is the same story. It's not a great week for anyone. Despite Tostada's fears and general anxiety, there is a ray of hope amongst it all. I have no idea how or why, but Tostada gets brave at night. We could have friends over all day and not see a single Tostada sighting, but once the clock strikes 9 p.m., suddenly there's a little silhouette staring at us from the doorway. As long as it's nighttime and the noise is bearable, Tostada will come out to greet and sniff and rub up on the people she was previously terrified of for reasons I have yet to understand. I know cats like to be active at night and stuff, but Tostada seemingly sheds all her shyness and crippling anxiety in an instant and becomes a completely different cat. My only working hypothesis is that she gains strength knowing her beloved bedtime is right around the corner, and that somehow acts as a bit of newfound courage, but I don't know. I just really think she somehow decided nighttime was safe and there's no reason behind it because her brain is an enigma. I'm glad she can defeat the voices though. We always make sure she gets lots of hugs and kisses every time, so it really encourages her. Alright, so a bit ago Tostada was wheezing every once in a while, so I took her to the vet, who diagnosed her with light bronchitis. I assume it was because she went through a phase where she would eat dust. They prescribed her some antibiotics, and it was then my responsibility to make sure she eats a pill twice a day for the next week. As you can imagine, being that this was Tostada's first time having medicine, it was not gonna be easy for both of us. The first attempt was a learning experience. I managed to get the pill in her mouth and did the little trick where you rub a cat's throat to make sure they don't spit it back up. But since I just gave her the pill with no treats or anything, I watched as she gagged at the taste of it for a bit. It was not easy to look at. I felt really bad. Determined to try and give her a better experience, I decided to put the pill in a small ball of cheese. You know, cats love a little cheese treat. Except Tostada, because of course she's not normal in even that regard. This so-called cat hasn't showed a single shred of interest in human food ever, because I don't think it registers in her mind what we eat is also food she could technically also eat, and it objectively tastes better in every aspect. It's been great because she never begs for food, unlike others. But now, when I present to her a tasty cheese ball with absolutely no antibiotics in it, she has no idea what to do with it. Eats dust and gives herself bronchitis, but doesn't want to eat cheese. So I was left to force feed cheese twice a day to the only animal in the world that doesn't want cheese. She's all better now, and I would bet money she's forgotten all about the week where I suddenly turned evil for no reason. But walking into her presence with a cheese ball made me feel like I was dragging her down to hell twice a day. Jacob and I were going on a long road trip and planned on taking the cats with us. Taylor and Fraser have experienced both being in a car and being in a car for an extended amount of time before, but we knew poor Tostada was gonna struggle. The main question was, how upset was she gonna be? Tostada is a homebody. She has no desire to ever leave the house, does not want to experience anything new, hates anything that has to do with outside. If it were up to her, every day would be the exact same, everything would be controlled and predictable, zero adventure at all, forever and ever, because she has no concept of time and death. We knew ripping her away from her beloved home just for a bit to sit in a loud, scary vehicle that carries her further and further away from the world she's so attached to would be not her preferred way to spend the day. We packed up the cats in their carriers and didn't even get fully out the door until Tostada let out the loudest howl I believe a cat can physically make. This might be the worst day of her entire life. On the road, we let them out of their carriers so they could be as comfortable as possible. Fraser sat on the middle console as if he was a co-pilot to the ride. Taylor sat in the back on top of all her snacks and bags, creating her own little cove of solitude. And Tostada hid in the dark under the dusty seat. After a few hours with not a single peep or sign of life, I decided to drag Tostada out from under the chair, both to try and convince her to sit with the rest of us, and also do a wellness check for my own sake. I peeled her out from the floor, and oh my god, are you crying? Tostada's humongous eyes were wet and glossed over, and she had a single tear running down her cheek. This poor thing was so heartbroken over the car ride. She was defying her biology and crying tears of sorrow. This absolutely was the worst day of Tostada's life. She will never be able to understand how lucky she is that the worst thing to ever happen to her is a ride in the car. After a while, she did start emerging to look out the window and wander a bit before going back under for a few more hours. Maybe she was just checking if she'd somehow been magically teleported back home before slinking back under the chair to wallow. But at least she wasn't crying alone on the floor anymore. The sun started setting and the day was fading away as we drove onwards until... Oh. Hi, Tostada. What's got you climbing around and exploring? Oh my god, she's brave at night, even in the car. I just do not know what comes over Tostada at night. At this point, I don't think there's a single thing she'll back down from as long as the moon and stars are out. She was hopping around to all the windows, even though she couldn't see anything because it was all pitch black now. Happily climbed over to the passenger seat to sniff around, started meowing and chatting up a storm, kept trying to weasel her way into my lap to take a closer look at the gas pedal. Despite me knowing everything about this cat, every habit, every trait, every quirk, downloaded and forever locked into my mind, I just don't understand how. How is she her own being? She has her own little consciousness in that smaller than average skull of hers that makes her live her own life and makes her own decisions, even though they're very dumb. She shares the same world I do, and yet she digests it so differently? How can a creature like her even exist? And how did I get so fortunate to be the one that has her? Tostada experiences so many pointless fears and harmless anxieties that are gonna stick with her until her final days, but her unwavering happiness and joy pierces through all of it effortlessly. And it makes me so proud knowing I'm the one that's giving her this perfect little life. Every day I think about how lucky I am to have the perfect cat made for me. No one else could possibly understand and treasure her more. Tostada was simply meant to be mine, and we make each other so happy.
If you haven't seen, the new merch is still technically available. We worked hard to put together a really fun lineup of new Tostada and Ari plush keychains, Hawaiian shirt, beach towel, and fanny pack. It all goes away on August 10th, which as of right now, if you're me posting this video, is in a few days. So you should probably run over to JaidenAnimations.com right now if you're even thinking about grabbing anything. Just a peek won't hurt, right? Thanks as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed me just talking about my pitiful little cat again. I will tell her that you all say hello. Alright, bye-bye.
My first memory as a child is being strapped down with belts to a chair while a dentist rips out all my teeth as I scream bloody murder against my will. That's not true. But ever since I was little, I've had a really intense fear of the dentist. I'm not sure why. I mean, yeah, going to the dentist is a bit freaky, but even as an adult, I understand the fact that I'm not in any danger, and the dentist is just trying to pick out bits of plaque I've built up over the past 6 months. If anything, I should be scared of how much they charge. Even though I know this, my body still shakes uncontrollably when they do anything more than floss my teeth, which is still kind of scary because they're always so aggressive about it. Every memory I have of going to the dentist while I was a kid is filled with me just bawling my eyes out during the entire process, and then getting a little toy from their toy machine because I was, quote, so good. I mean, you're not fooling anyone. Even I knew that was just a load of bull. No, I still want it. When I was in 6th grade, my parents decided to finally slap some braces on my mouth. My teeth were pretty straight, but I had an overbite, so I just looked like a nice horse. My mom made an appointment with the orthodontist to talk about the process, and while there, he told me I've still got 5 baby teeth, and I'll need to pull them out before I get braces for common sense purposes. So they sent me out, and I basically had a month to pull out all 5 teeth before they were gonna have to rip them out for me, which I did not like the idea of. The imagery of them sticking a needle in my mouth fueled both my motivation and intense, overwhelming fear, and I wiggled those 5 baby boys every single day since that meeting. A few of them weren't even wiggling yet, so it was gonna be a race against the clock. Does anyone want to get into a fight? By the end of the month, I managed to pull out 3 teeth on my own. A PB. But it wasn't enough, which meant my mom was gonna have to schedule that dreaded nightmare appointment where they were gonna shove needles down my throat. I was in the living room and could hear her make the call, which made my stomach sink, and I felt petrified that doomsday was going to be my reality in a few days. I could hear them preparing all 100 needles and barbed wire over the phone. That little reality check was enough to fear charge me into new power levels, because maybe an hour or 2 after she confirmed the appointment with the orthodontist, I'd ripped out the last 2 of my teeth. The conversation where my mom had to cancel the extraction appointment 2 hours after she booked it was the biggest feeling of relief I've ever had. She also ended up paying me $75 because she said I just saved her like $500 for yanking the teeth out myself and not having to pay the dentist to do it. Wow. The tooth fairy been scamming me for years. What a happy ending to the story. Jaiden went on to never have anything scary done to her teeth. She continued to live a happy life, only needing to go to the dentist for cleanings and no freaky mouth procedures for the rest of her days. She got her horse teeth fixed and the rest is history. So last year in June, I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out. My wisdom teeth had been growing in and shoving their aggressiveness into the sweet harmony of my existing teeth for a few years. My mom intended to get them removed when I turned 18, but I think she forgot, and I thought I could get away with it, but they were starting to get really painful and annoying. One was coming in sideways, which made my gums get in the way while I ate, which made me only chew food on the left side of my mouth for like a whole year. I'd had enough and figured I just needed to get it over with and have them ripped out. I scheduled an appointment to get them removed on June 11th and braced for impact the rest of the week. Before the extraction, they wanted to have a meeting with me to discuss the process of what they're doing and how they're doing it. They put on one of those 90s informational videos and everything seemed fine until we got to the part where it was talking about sedation. In the video, they said that some sort of gas is used to induce conscious sedation, the kind that makes you really loopy and not remember anything. But then the nurse piped in and said, "We don't do that here," and let the video continue. So what? I'm just gonna be fully conscious while you needle and drill and probe my mouth? Answer the question! After the video, I said, so is there a way I can be at least semi-unconscious for this? The nurse prescribed me medication called Valium that'll help calm me down, which was relieving to hear. All I wanted was to not be conscious. I picked it up and the day came. I'm excited to not be conscious. My roommate and I got into the car to take me to the appointment, and that's when it really sunk in. This medication isn't doing anything for me, and I am extremely conscious. Do you have any chloroform? Apparently, Valium's supposed to relax you enough so that you're awake, but don't really care what's happening. But by the time the dentist was calling me back to the chair, my nerves were still going haywire. Proof of consciousness. I desperately asked the dentist if I could take another one because one pill wasn't doing enough for me, but she said I'll be fine. Okay. They leaned me back in the chair, put that mouth opener thing in my mouth, put sunglasses on me so I don't hurt my sensitive little eyes, and put the first needle into my mouth. And that's when I couldn't hold it anymore. Fear was overwhelming me the entire day, but that was the moment it really got me. Tears burst down my face and I was trying desperately not to make that annoying noise when you're trying not to cry too hard, but you need to breathe, but you breathe too much. I kept apologizing because I knew physically I was fine. There wasn't any pain I couldn't tolerate. They hadn't really done anything yet and I was being irrational. But just the idea that I was awake and present was so intense and I couldn't handle it. I didn't do that, but I wanted to. I was able to compose myself after a few minutes and they kept going, but the sounds of them sawing my tooth in half and yanking it out of my gums, and God knows what else, probably just playing tic-tac-toe with needles in there for the heck of it, was horrifying. I'm not scared of much and I'm relatively reasonable for the most part, so it was really surprising and eye-opening to feel genuine, uncontrollable fear. Like, my head told me things were okay, but my body was freaking out. And then my head was like, dude, chill. And then my body was like... All in all, everything went well, and I was able to go home after they finished up a few hours later. Since I wasn't drugged up and just super numb, I didn't have much recovery to deal with other than swelling, and I kinda just chilled for the rest of the day watching YouTube videos. The dentist even told me I can eat normal food and wasn't restricted to just soup as long as I was careful. I ordered a smoothie bowl to my house, and when I opened the door to take it from the guy, I didn't realize until afterwards I had blood dripping out of my mouth, so luckily he didn't call the police. I was trying with 100% focus to not bite my tongue because I couldn't feel it at all in my mouth and was at high risk for just biting a chunk of it off without knowing. The smoothie bowl had sliced strawberries on top, and you don't realize how much sliced strawberries resemble the texture and sound of biting into a tongue until you don't know where your tongue is in your mouth and also can't feel anything. Was that my tongue? If I had to get my wisdom teeth out again, I highly doubt I'd be this freaked out about it. The hardest part was just not knowing what was going to happen and not being able to brace for it. But afterwards, it was like, that wasn't too bad. But also thank the holy merciful gods that I don't need to do that again. So I've got an update. I think I've just been going to a not great dentist. I originally went to them for a retainer and they were like, this is the place that did my wisdom teeth, by the way. So I went to them for a new retainer and they were like, oh, we can straighten your teeth a bit first with Invisalign. And I was like, well, all right, sure. My teeth are already pretty straight because of the braces, but I was like, sure, whatever. They said it'll be done in 6 months. 6 months pass and none of my teeth align right when I bite down anymore, and it's extremely uncomfortable. Then they were like, let's file your teeth down to line up again. And 10 minutes of teeth shaving later, they're like, it's not working. Let's get more Invisalign. And I was like, And when I mentioned being unsure about things now. They were like, it's normal for Invisalign to last for 2 years. And I was like, 2 years? This is the first time I'm hearing anything about 2 years. Also, I didn't even have braces for 2 years when my teeth were actually janked. So yeah, I'm not going there anymore. Follow your dreams, kids.
When I was living on my own for the first time, I had to go to the store and get milk and paper towels. And that was the first time I was like, wow, I am such a freaking adult. I really appreciate the childhood my parents were able to give me. I'm really privileged to have grown up in a functional house where my parents didn't want me to die. I made a parent stories video a little over a year ago, and I rewatched it to make sure I didn't repeat any topics. And all I'm gonna say is those stories and animation are not worth 10 million views. That video, I don't like it. I don't like that video. My parents were really big on manners and being polite. We've got some Asian blood in us, so we can't bring dishonor to our family. We do all the typical things like call adults Mr. and Mrs., ask to be excused from dinner, make sure to thank everyone for everything ever, bow to our superiors. When my mom had new people come over to the house, she would make me introduce myself and shake their hand, and then when no one was looking, she'd pull me aside to a different room and quiz me. What color are their eyes? That was my mom's training course to get me to be good at eye contact, because I guess I used to be stupid and not look at people when they talked. But I remember that kind of backfired because I'd be so focused on memorizing their eyes that I wouldn't pay attention to what they were saying. Hi Jaiden, how are you? Alright, loser, I've got a quiz to take. Now that I've got 20 years of aced eye quizzes under my belt, I'm an eye contact wizard. I graduated top of my class in eye contact. I've got eye contact master's degrees. Well, every once in a while, some people make me nervous and I get shy. But other than that, I'm an eye contact powerhouse. I realized more recently that I think sometimes I go overboard and just end up staring at people by accident, and it's very weird, and I'm sorry at everyone. My mom would also be really strict on me saying pardon all the time instead of what. Like, she would say something I didn't hear and I'd go, what? And she'd stick her head around with, pardon? I wouldn't be a bimbo and be all, what? It's not like I was being a rude moron. One time my friend told me, Jaiden, I think you're the only person I know that says pardon. And like, that's all fine and dandy. I could respect my mom's request to use an underused polite word. But I can't. Because she's even worse. This is what she does. Mom, did you put my book somewhere? Huh? Objectively speaking, a what is exponentially better than a huh? I started mocking her whenever she did it, and then she gradually stopped bothering me about saying pardon. Also, I realized I never told you that I had a lisp as a kid. My parents meme on me about it all the time, and a running joke in the family came from when I used to be babysat by my mom's friend, who's Italian. Which means she'd talk like this and have her house full of a spaghetti, and oh mamma mia. I'm only half joking. She's very Italian. Yahoo! She would make pasta for me all the time, and whenever she would ask what I wanted for lunch, I would pathetically go, pasta with no sauce! I wanted pasta with no sauce. And now, if my family would be having pasta for dinner, someone would end up going, I don't have a lisp anymore. Sometimes it shines through when I talk too fast or get sloppy with my words, but somehow I fixed it by myself. In first grade, we were learning about letter pronunciation, and when we got to S, the teacher explained that some kids say S with their tongue, when it's actually supposed to be behind your teeth. And I was like, oh, so I stopped doing it. Cured. Who knew that if you've got a speech impediment or some sort of hindrance or obstruction in your life, just stop it. Simple. You've got cancer. No, it's okay. Just stop it. When I was learning how to swim, my mom and her friend, who also had a daughter my age, hired a swim instructor for us, and I don't remember a single thing about it except that she made us hang off the edge of the pool and just shimmy across the side. But I was terrified of these filters against the side and always refused to go across them because I was scared of being sucked in or something. I don't know how I passed that class because I refused to do the exercise. But at least I knew her eyes were blue. And then at the end of each lesson, she'd give us a piece of licorice, like we were dogs. I didn't like licorice. Oh yeah, and also this one time I almost drowned and died. So my parents were having a bunch of their friends over who also had kids for a pool party. There were a handful of pool toys like blow-up dolphins and beach balls, but we also had this floating foam mat. I was doofing off doing my own thing, and at one point when I was underwater, the mat drifted over top of me. When I had to go up for air, I hit the bottom of the mat, and I was like, uh-oh.
time for advanced critical problem solving. So if this mat is over top of me, I can't get up to the surface to breathe. So what do? I got it. I'll simply become a child Hercules and lift 3 6-year-olds from underwater into the air with my twig arms. Rather than using one of my 4 brain cells and swimming 2 feet to the side away from the mat, I decided to try and just bench press my way to survival. One of the adults realized I was being an idiot and also dying, and instead of being like, well, survival of the fittest, he dove in and saved me. So I didn't end up drowning of stupidity. Thank you, Mr. Chad. And now I'm here, on my own, moved to California, in my own place, not dead at the bottom of a pool, staring at everyone. Being honest, I love my family so much, and they've done so much for me. It takes a lot of effort to raise a person. Just think about how helpless and stupid babies are when they start out. They can't do anything. You can just put a baby on the ground and do nothing. Just leave it alone, and it'll just... pathetic. I'm so thankful and lucky my family's so supportive about everything I've been able to do, because I know not a lot of parents are like that. They even helped me sell merch at VidCon. They were so happy about it too. They came up to me after every day like, oh my gosh, Jaiden, everyone's so wonderful. The people who watch your videos are so sweet. Someone asked me to sign their shirt, so I just wrote Jaiden's mom. I was really nervous to pursue this career path because it can be a bit unpredictable, but the fact that they're so proud and encouraging has helped me do so much more than I ever would have thought I could if I was alone. So thanks, Mom and Dad. Brown, Hazel. So I just got back from VidCon Australia, and I wanted to say that that was amazing. I've never been upside down before. I was on a few panels with some friends like James and Jazza and Maz, and got to meet a bunch of really amazing, nice people. Maz, Jazza, and I were in the opening show, and I ended up having to draw a wombat with my elbows, which was very difficult, especially since I didn't know what a wombat looked like. If you want to see that, you can check it out on Jazz's channel. He posted that whole thing. I got to hold a snake and pet a kangaroo. It was kind of cold and windy and rainy, but I also got to meet an owl and a whole bunch of you. Just a really overall great experience. I am so appreciative that you guys like my stuff. I also wanted to update you that my shop manager and I are working on a new shop relaunch. We weren't content with the old one and wanted to make better stuff, so there's a bunch of new products and much more really cool things coming, like, oh, I don't know, maybe a little Ari bag. I don't know. Oh, geez. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. I really mean it. I'm excited to start pushing for more video improvements and just get a bunch of really cool stuff done. Okay, it's getting really hot in this closet. See you later. Bye. Thanks for everything. I love you.